And we're back with Summer Nationals Day 3 here with the first event of the day, PR1 men's single. This is a trials event. Andrew here will be representing the United States at the World Championships this September in Richice.
So it's Charlotte Buck and Issa Darvin back on the mic for our third day. Just in case you haven't tuned in to hear us narrate some races earlier in the week. But it's really exciting to have these trials events. For a lot of these athletes, it may be their first time or multiple times getting a chance to represent the United States in these para events. If you are unfamiliar with para rowing, you are really missing out. There are a few different classifications for para rowing, a few boats that go to the World Championships and a few that are at the Paralympics. This event is the PR men's single sculls. There's also the PR women's single sculls coming up in that is also contested. For PR1, it is just trunk and arms. You can see that Andrew Mangan is on a fixed seat, just rowing, stretching out, but really beautiful technique here. That just dropping those blades in, keeping really long in the water, just sending his shell down the course.
And, you know, today is really an example of Ladies at Mercer's capacity for, you know, mercy and beauty, because it's really looking great out here. A little bit less humid than it's been in the past 2 days too, I might add. I'm sure that, you know, as we get through the rest of the day, it's going to continue to get hotter. But right now, you really couldn't ask for better conditions here for Andrew.
So Andrew's coached by Sasha Bailey. I'm sure they've done a lot of really good work together up in West Side, in Buffalo, New York. Andrew previously suffered a cervical spine injury and has been rowing through his recovery. In 1 year, he even had a goal of rowing 100,000 meters, which would take approximately 8 hours, to doing it as a fundraiser for the High Fives Foundation, which is focused on preventing life-changing injuries and providing resources and hope to those that do have injuries. If you want to check out more of the great work he does, he also started a podcast called Connecting the Resilient, which serves as a platform for spinal cord injury information, a place to share recovery and tips, as well as doctors' thoughts and suggestions from the foundation.
That's awesome.
So very cool work being done by him, and, you know, following in the lineage of some great para rowers that we've had represent the U.S. Obviously, last year in Tokyo, Blake Caxton did an amazing job in the PR1 single sculls, and, you know, not just racing in this event, but also doubling up in the para canoe and taking a medal in that event. Awesome. So it was super cool to see all these para athletes. Good to see the geese getting out of his way. You know, definitely we still have incidents with some wildlife on the course, but undeterred, Andrew looks very calm and collected heading down the course.
Yeah, you know, as an outdoor sport, we tackle it all: wind, sun, humidity, and the occasional aquatic animal.
Definitely we've got some other creatures here at Mercer, but they're doing a good job getting out of Andrew's way. If you're also new to watching para rowing, you might notice that there's something a little bit different about Andrew's shell compared to some other boats. He does have those pontoons on the side to help with the stability of the boat, but doing a really beautiful job here, just setting up the boat. Beautiful long strokes, good grip on the water.
Yeah, looking pretty textbook, honestly.
Mm-hmm. It's like what we like to see to set up the day. Just some really, really nice rowing as he's coming down the course.
We love to see it.
So, as we've mentioned, this event is a Paralympic event, but we do have other para events that are just for the World Championships. The para rowing was first raced at the 2002 World Championships in Seville, Spain, and the full Paralympic program was, or some of the Paralympic program was introduced in 2005, and the 2008 Paralympic Games were the first games to have para rowing in it. So it's really exciting to have para rowing growing as a sport. The other para events we'll be seeing later in today are the PR2 women's single, the PR2 men's single, and the PR3 mixed double. starting in 2017, the race changed from being a 1K to a 2K for all of these events, which is pretty cool to see.
Really cool.
You know, competing side by side with the other athletes on the Olympic program and having the same, taking on the same challenges as the Olympic athletes.
Yeah, we love to see it. And honestly, here we have a beautiful shot from above from our drone, which has been diligently following him down the course here.
Yeah, shout out to all of our videographers, drone drivers. We've had a really great coverage all of this week from the tower. So I hope you guys have been enjoying seeing this amazing rowing as much as we have.
Happy birthday to Alex, who is on our team.
It's his 18th birthday today, so if you see him around the course, give him a big shout.
Thanks for all the work that you've done so far on this production, Alex.
Andrew looking nice and calm and collected as he's heading down this race course. I've been lucky enough to work with some para-athletes and adaptive athletes when I used to coach at Rockland Rowing. So big shout out to all the athletes there putting in that really hard work.
Looks like he might be around the 1250.
Yeah, coming down the course, you can see him out in the middle lanes. I mean, just a gorgeous day. It's really nice to have clear blue skies here at Mercer. It was a little gray all day yesterday, and it does look like we're going to have some really nice weather for all of the events this morning. UV still low, but you know, as we've been saying,
love that, yeah.
Sun protection, very important.
Yeah, you can see little ripples on the water, but nothing that I think will really be impacting anyone as of now. We'll see. And you can see those red buoys in the bottom of the screen. I'll be heading into that last 500 pretty shortly.
So I'm sure this is very exciting for Andrew to be getting this chance to represent the United States. And he's been doing really great work up in Buffalo. So I'm sure himself, his coaches, his family are all very excited to see him have a chance to, you know, put on the red, white, and blue and represent the United States this fall.
Yeah.
Previous to rowing, he was a very accomplished downhill skier. So obviously taking those athletic skills and sticking them in the boat, really doing a great job of continuing his athleticism in a different discipline. Previously, he said the advice that he would give to somebody with a new spinal cord injury is it's never as bad as it initially seems. Stay positive because there's no limit to what you can do. And he's showing that on the race course today, putting down a great piece here.
Agreed.
You know, it definitely just shows the intense work and rehabilitation that he and his family and his doctors have put in to get them in this place, to be able to put together such a excellent executed race. Beautiful rowing here.
Yeah, you know, that resilience really seems to have paid off here.
Mm-hmm. You know, I wouldn't want to row just stretching out trunk and arms. It is a very difficult race.
Oh, yeah.
To just push yourself along. It takes a lot of technical proficiency. So he's one of our younger competitors this morning, so it's really great to see somebody early on in their rowing career, and we can't wait to see what he accomplishes in this discipline.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. You know, you might have guessed, but I think there are some youths on the mic in the tower, so we're not trying to keep it just young people, but we do love to see some new friends out on the race course.
And looks here like he's entering the last 250. You can see those red buoys.
Still doing a great job just reaching out over the stern of his boat, getting a good grip on the water. Well, you really can see great technical blade work. Those white blades just dropping in, staying long connected to the water as he pushes down in the final strokes of his race. So our first few races here are uncontested, but these athletes will get a chance to race at the World Championships. But I think we will have some close racing heading down the race course for some of our other trials events. It will be really exciting to see the light women and men's singles. I'm sure that those will be very tight racing between those 6 boats. Looking really good in these last few meters of the course. You can see he's coming down round to the finish line in this final 100 meters. But, you know, composure no different than earlier in the race. He's bringing up the rate, you know, just tapping it along a little faster for those last strokes.
Yep.
There we go. And crossing through the line, congratulations, Andrew Mangan, for your win today and getting the chance to represent the United States this fall. And heading down the course now, we have the PR2 women's single, Jennifer Fitzroy. PR2 rowers have the functional use of arms and trunk, but have weakness or absence of leg function to slide the seat. So still just trunk and arms stretching out. As opposed to Andrew in the previous race, those PR1 rowers have minimal or no trunk function, so they're propelling the boat just with their arms. They require them to be strapped to a boat seat, but you see Jennifer here, not strapped down, stretching way out in front of her boat. Doing a really beautiful job. Jennifer Fitzroy is coming down from Community Rowing Initiative in Boston. You know, great home to some very, very excellent para-athletes. She's coached by Elizabeth Knoll. It's really exciting to see her work hard heading down the course here in the first 500. Jennifer is already very accomplished athlete here. She's been in the para high performance group at CRI since 2019. So putting in quite a few years of work to end up here on the race course. Previously in the PR2 women's single, she's gotten second place at the 2019 national trials and raced also at the 2019 Royal Canadian Henley Regatta. And here's our results for Andrew Mangan. Really great job coming down from West Side in Buffalo with a time of 12:04.9.
Congrats, Andrew.
Really great work. Again, I'm here with Issa Darvin, having a really great morning, doing commentary. We still will take DMs for our later races in the day. We've got some really great comments from other athletes. I'm on Instagram as @SharbuckWild, and Issa is @Issa Darvin. So let us know what you want to hear, who you want to cheer for. If you've got a friend in the race, it's really great to see the rowing community, you know, drop in, say hi, cheer for their friends. It's all about the community that we build here.
We love it. We love to hear from you guys.
Jennifer also has some indoor records, which is,
Ooh.
you know, those are hard to grab as we've got a few friends, you know. Perhaps you know the indoor 2K world record holder, Brooke Mooney, very accomplished. But Jennifer holds the indoor rowing PR2 women's world record for the 6K and the half marathon.
Wow.
Like, you're going to sit and do a half marathon in
I
an
know,
erg?
right?
Anybody who does that, a little bit insane. But in a great way, obviously puts in a lot of hard work to have those accomplishments on her resume.
Definitely.
And it does look like all that erging is paying off. You know, great grip on the water, really great push every single stroke. You got to use that full lean back if you're just trunk and arms, you know, big swing through.
Yeah. And honestly, that's exactly, I mean, even what our coaches are looking for, you know, keeping your arms straight through the drive and bringing, allowing your body to accelerate first. I mean, I know that's something that I'm working on, that she's providing an excellent example of. A lot of times rowers, we have a tendency to want to break our arms really early and like just be really grabby at the catch. And this is just a really good example of, I think, how you're supposed to be doing it, you know, like body first, arms in afterwards. Like that's what I'm looking to do as well.
You know, maybe any friends of hers that are fans of CrossFit and just her erging skills, should I, take a little lesson from her?
Oh,
really
true.
great hang and swing. Definitely, trying to help people who are predominantly on the erg figure out how to be effective on the water. And she is doing a textbook example of some great rowing out here. I'm sure her coach, Elizabeth Knoll, is very proud of the work that she has put in. So, that is the great thing. You can take parts of great rowing from every single race, learn stuff from every race you watch. I certainly learned a lot from watching my juniors and my college kids race.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever want to like get some experience or perhaps like learn something new about rowing, just try to explain it to someone who doesn't know.
It's pretty challenging, and she's heading down into this final 500 of the course, doing a great job, bringing up the rate a little. Jen is also a mentor to disabled youth and a fierce advocate for inclusion and disability rights. It's really great to see her put in all that hard work. She's a graduate of Boston College and first learned to row with CRI. So she's really excited to be representing CRI and their mission to change lives and empower others of all backgrounds and abilities in rowing.
We love it.
And that's what we love. So the expansion of rowing, it is not just...
Hashtag good for the sport.
Yeah, exactly. As two athletes, we didn't start early on in the sport. There's lots of different avenues in, and it's so exciting to see athletes as accomplished as Jennifer Fitzroy getting their chance to represent the United States this fall as well.
Yeah, as you can see, she's entering the last 250 of the race, which you can see in these red buoys. Definitely think that she's started to pick up the rate here in the last 500. We'll see what she does here as she comes into the final portion of the race.
So this race, as with Andrew, I'm sure that they will be comparing times to what other para-athletes do in races like this based on the conditions. And so that can be really good. If you don't have somebody to race against, it's something we also do. You have something called the gold medal standard, and you can see what percentage you're getting off that time, what work still needs to be done to make sure you can end up with a podium spot this fall.
And it's a really helpful and effective training tool, and as well as a way to see where you stack up internationally, and that can be really helpful.
Speaking of international racing, there is a World Cup 3 on starting today in Lucerne. So if you want to watch more racing, get some different commentary styles than myself and Issa, I would definitely suggest checking out that rowing. For anyone, it can really teach you a lot to watch some different international racing.
Agreed.
On the right side of your screen, we have Russell Gernot heading down the race course for the PR2 men's single. But crossing the line here, Jennifer Fitzroy, really such a class act row this morning. You can see beautiful flat water as she crosses the line and secures her spot to race in Richice this fall.
Congratulations, Jennifer.
Really beautiful. Russell heading out. So this is the same classification as we just saw with Jennifer, PR2, use of trunk and arms. His nice swing back we can already see from down the course.
Russell was 8th in the PR2 mixed double sculls at last summer's Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. He's racing uncontested in this event, but he is a 3-time national team member, so looking to secure that spot once more. He's coached by Alice Henderson, and he's rowing out of Casitas.
So, putting really great work down there. Definitely saw him and his partner train a little bit last year with us in Chula Vista, so it's so exciting to see him on the race course today.
Yeah, with that kind of experience, I'm sure that this is light work, for him. Been there, done that, but, that's not letting him. He's not going to take it easy on us here, definitely.
Yeah, no, definitely going to still be working very hard during this race.
Oh, we got a Midwesterner, a fellow Midwesterner.
Isa loves to see it. Originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
but hometown, Redwood City, California. Cali boy.
It's very, very exciting, you know.
Here we have the results from the PR2 women's single, which is the trials event. So we got Jennifer with a time of 11:26.4. Congratulations to Jennifer. We'll be seeing you in the fall.
Yeah, we'll be seeing more of all these athletes. Really encourage you to, you know, follow along, help them with their journey, you know, donate to all these athletes as they work really hard to accomplish their goals as part of the United States team. You know, looking really nice and strong here as well. So we do have a bunch of thank yous for today, for everybody who's making this regatta possible. Really hard work over the last 3 days from all of our volunteers. It really wouldn't be possible without you. And a big thank you to Chris Groot and Hillary Gaiman, our local organizing committee. They do a lot for us here at the Princeton National Training Center, and so much to make this whole regatta possible this weekend. Thank you to all the referees. You can see referee launches following the races, doing a really great job keeping our athletes safe out there. You know, we did have some different steering issues. No problem here for Russell going straight down his course, but those refs helping us out so much. If you're interested in becoming a referee, it is the best seat in the house. You get to see the races up close, opportunity to get to meet some interesting people, some athletes, help keep everybody safe. USRowing is always looking to grow our referee group. So if interested, please go to the referee tab on the USRowing website for more information.
Also, if you've been watching and following along this week and you're like, you know what, this isn't enough rowing for me, I want more, don't worry. We have more rowing for you to watch. We got Youth Summer Nationals coming up in Oak Ridge, Tennessee next week from July 15th through 17th. There'll be a college fair there with over 60 schools in attendance. So any rising seniors will get the opportunity to talk with D1, D2, D3, and club rowing programs from a variety of colleges and universities. And this racing this year will include youth events. So that means U17 and U16 events, which are new. And we also have a quad with coxswain and a 4 with coxswain, so in the U16 event, so that's exciting, as well as Masters Nationals, which will be coming up August 11th through 14th in Sarasota, Florida. Yeah, you know, there's going to be a lot of cooling tents there, which is great. Hydration tablets. We know Florida in the summer is the heat can be oppressive, but, you know, also a beer garden with athlete wellness area.
You know, lots of fun for our masters here. You're over 21, you get to have a good time after racing.
I love that.
So hopefully Russell will be having a nice time after his race too, get to just relax a little and be proud of his accomplishments, securing his spot on another national team here for the United States.
Yeah, coming into these red buoys here.
Looking really good. Definitely bringing up the rate here.
Definitely putting it on a little bit here. Like Charlotte was saying earlier, you know, these athletes don't have, you know, someone to push off of physically, but not only do they have, like, obviously their own internal discipline and motivation, but there are gold medal standards that they can look to see, okay, like, what time did the winning PR2 men's single go, for example, in the Paralympics. Obviously, there's conditions differences and stuff, but I'm sure all these athletes have a number that they're looking for that they've probably talked about with their coaches and seen, like, given the conditions, given where they're at in their training, what time are we looking for here to make sure that we're on track for that race in the fall. So
today will be a really good comparison. With this flat water, it can be a little easier than if you got a ripping headwind, especially headwind sometimes. You're like, hey, I went slow today. It's fine. It's the conditions. It's not you. But in these conditions today, pretty nice and flat. They can do a pretty good evaluation of themselves. You know, all of our athletes, speed coaches in the boat, you can see your split, see how you're doing as you come down to the line. Really nice work here from Russell to secure his spot as the PR2 men's single for the United States.
Congratulations, Russell.
Really, really exciting stuff. And we head back up to the start for our next trials event, heading into the second 500 of the course. You know, our first event with more than one competitor. They are in the same boat, but, you know, working really, really hard together. We have Pearl Outlaw and Todd Vogel from Portland, coached by Susan Wood. You may or may not have seen them at the International Para Regatta in Italy earlier this year. If you haven't seen them, go watch those races. Did really, really great work. They won all of their races. So already a very
undefeated
accomplished
season. That's
yeah,
awesome.
we love to see an undefeated season.
We love to see that.
I cannot say that I have had any of those. So big shout out to Pearl and Todd. Exactly.
Living the dream.
Truly. These are both very accomplished athletes, both together and apart. Todd Vogel was on the para-national team in the PR3 men's pair in 2019, so switching from that single oar to the double here. Coming through is our results for Russell Gernot from Casitas with a winning time of 9:44.4. Congratulations, Russell. So excited to see you race in Račice, Czech Republic this fall. Back to Todd and Pearl, really laying it down out here. You can see Pearl sitting in the stroke seat there, Todd in the bow. Really great connection from these both athletes. As I was saying, Todd was on the para-national team for the PR3 men's pair in 2019 and the PR3 mixed double in 2021. So continuing on from last year, Pearl Outlaw was on the para-national team in the PR3 mixed double in 2019. So PR3, as opposed to PR1 and PR2 classifications, have residual function in their legs, which allows them to use a sliding seat. This class of athlete can also include those that have visual impairments. So lots of different athletes that can get involved in PR3 rowing and putting down just a really great combo here as they're heading into that second 1,000 of their race.
Now we're seeing a couple ripples on the water, but again, it's still a very beautiful day. I'm sure that, you know, they're not finding much resistance, if any, as they're heading down the course, which is exactly what we want to see for a finals day. You know, you really couldn't ask for better conditions, as we've said. So I'm hoping that they're enjoying their time out there, because I'm certainly a little jealous. It looks beautiful.
I know. We wish we were on the race course out with them, but they're looking really good. All of these athletes in these Paralympic events will be looking to train for the next Paralympic Games in Paris in 2024. You know, coincidentally, what Issa and I are training for ourselves, the Olympic Games in Paris. Last year in Tokyo, there were 96 berths for the 4 events of the PR1 men's single, PR1 women's single, the PR2 mixed double, and the PR3 mixed coxed 4. So these athletes will keep training in these boats. We have more Paralympic or para events that are contested at the World Championships, just like we have for different international boat classes, such as the lightweight men's and singles that will be contested today. Not Olympic events, but really, really exciting racing, great athletes that are in all those events. Some good shouts out in the course. If you're warming up for your race, give them a big shout as they're coming down, about to head into the final 500 of the race course.
Yeah, rowers supporting other rowers. That is hashtag good for the sport.
Key takeaways here. Cheer for everyone. It only makes you go faster. You know, put good energy out there, get good energy back. And really exciting to see an excellent race from Pearl and Todd.
Yeah, that's the goal, you know, like the faster we all are, you know, the faster United States rowing is. So.
Exactly. Win together.
Yep.
You can see they're bringing up the rate here as they're heading into their sprint.
And we've got some comp blades on here. We'd love to see that.
We do.
A new blade from Concept 2.
And they're about to head into those red buoys of the final 250 of the race course. We'll see if they bump it up just another tick as they head into those final meters of the course. Yeah, you know, there are lots of different technical choices, boat choices that athletes and coaches can make Alice Henderson doing a great job with these two athletes Susan Wood doing a great job with these athletes out of Portland.
Yeah, and like we've said for all these races, while they're uncontested, it's still a race against the clock, you know? And I'm sure all these coaches for these athletes have set out a goal for them to meet, or maybe they've set one for themselves. So they're heading here trying to beat that whatever time they've set for themselves.
Really, really great stuff out here from these two athletes. We're so excited to have them claim their spot on the U.S. team for this year. Ooh, it looks like we've got another little rate shift up as they're coming down in their final few strokes of the course. Really gorgeous rowing here. You see their leg drive exactly synced up. Todd just giving a little peek over his shoulder, looking for that line, coming through for that win. Really great job from both of these athletes.
Congratulations to the both of them.
Also, style and other stuff. I really like your unis.
I was going to say
great
that too.
color choices.
Cute.
I love kind of, a little bit traditional.
Yeah.
Heading back up to the start, we have the women's lightweight single, another trials event. This one, we've got a big field coming down the course. In lane 1, Elizabeth Hindley, unaffiliated USA. Lane 2, Alex Morse, New York Athletic Club. Lane 3, Lisa Ray, Lincoln Park. Lane 4, Mary Jones-Nabel from Cambridge. Lane 5, Mary Wilson from Vesper. And lane 6, Caroline Cahill, unaffiliated USA. This is going to be some excellent racing.
Oh, this is super exciting. I mean, we got Mary Jones, who is, basically a legend, I would say.
Pretty much. I saw someone say, it might be the year of Mary Jones. So it will take a lot of accomplishments from one of these other athletes to take the win away from her. She has been able to travel quite a lot this spring and get that international race experience that she can bring back to this trials event. As previously mentioned when we watched her races, our first day, she won the time trial. She was the winner of World Cup 2 and World Cup 1 pretty much in dominant fashion. There was no one that could touch her in either of those races. And won at the Bled International Regatta as well. So really exciting to see those accomplishments for the U.S. Really great work out there. She is in lane 4 in the center of your course, but, has not yet pulled away from the rest of their field. This 6-boat race is pretty tight as they head into their second 500.
Yeah, in lane 3, we got Lisa Ray, rowing from Lincoln Park, another Columbia grad.
Yeah, go Lions!
And also having represented the United States in the U23 lightweight quad, and as well as the U23 lightweight double with her partner, Grace Joyce.
So I'm sure that they are going stroke for stroke, trying to use that experience that both of them have as they're in the lead. It does look like Lisa and Mary Jones, nothing between them. I would give Mary Jones the edge, but just a little bit. If you're unfamiliar with the race course gear, lane 1 is on the right side of your picture, over to lane 6 on the left. Mary Jones with that blue Cambridge uni, blue and white blades at the edge. Lisa Ray in the black fluid next to her, white blades, white uni. Those two are pulling away from the rest of the field. Doing a really great job here. Yeah, big shout out to Lisa. She was my teammate at Columbia. So great to see Lions on the course continuing to row after we have graduated. But it does look like Mary is making a move, pulling away, trying to break that contact. But Lisa is responding, bringing up the rate, looking really good. We still have bow and stern deck overlap between those two athletes. But it does look like there is a little bit of space back to our next athlete on the field, Mary Wilson. Still a lot of the race to go, so cannot determine winners yet, but it does look like Mary Jones trying to lengthen out that lead. She might just have open water on Lisa Ray at this moment. As mentioned with the other trials event, these athletes are competing for a spot on the team, the U.S. team for Vrčice Czech Republic World Championships this fall. So they will be doing their hardest to secure that bid. Whoever wins, this is, not an Olympic event, and these athletes will be looking for any support they can get. So please reach out to all of our winners, see if you can help them in any way possible, push them through their training, maybe donate some money to them, help them get to their next race, have an opportunity to get in some other challenges before they hit the course in Vrčice. But it does look like Mary Jones is breaking away from the rest of the field. Making it look pretty easy.
Making it look easy. And I mean, this is exactly what we expected from Mary Jones here. I mean, like I said, legendary.
Legendary. But, you know, a very competitive field here. Everyone has a lot of different experience. You know, Elizabeth Henley in that outside lane 1, member of the 2021 U.S. Beach Sprints national team.
Yeah, it's got to be a huge difference from, you know, sculling in the ocean versus on such a beautiful day here at Lake Mercer with some flat water. So that's got to be nice.
They're taking advantage of it, and Mary Jones has pushed out that lead even further. So I'm sure she's feeling good being able to see those 5 other athletes just falling away behind her.
I totally agree. And I do want to say I was remiss to say that, you know, we got Caroline Cahill, a former lightweight at the University of Wisconsin. You know, shout out to my sister, who is currently a lightweight at Wisconsin, and the entire lightweight team there. So I'm sure they're supporting their alumni here today as well.
A really beautiful shot up the course. Mary Jones just in the lead ahead of Lisa Ray. You can see that red lettering on the back of Alex Morse from New York Athletic Club. You know, another Lion going to Teachers College, but also a Princeton Tiger. So I'm sure hometown or college town advantage cheering for her out in West Windsor. We've got a Duke graduate from Mary Wilson. So those Blue Devils cheering for her as well. But Mary Jones looking pretty unbeatable. You just see that really nice pickup acceleration. She just gets that grip and does not let go until she has finished the stroke.
Yeah, we can't really see her bow right now in this shot, which is totally fine. But I'm sure that if we were to see it, we would see it cruising really smoothly through the water. Not a lot of check, which is exactly what you want to see in every boat class. So
hearing those cheers as they're heading into the final 500, trying to secure a spot on this year's senior national team. Really beautiful rowing. You can just see the perfect symmetry that Mary Jones is executing here. Really nice. You know, these lightweights, you're all at the same weight. It has to be about technical proficiency and execution of your own race plan. Just maximizing every single stroke as you head down the race course.
But, you know, like, this is so exciting, you know, just to see someone with her experience and caliber come back, race here at Summer Nationals for this trials event, and give everyone in the field an opportunity to really see how they stack up, you know, against one of the best in the event, you know, world internationally. And that's what, you know, this is all about. So like we were talking about before, we want speed to be represented here, and that just pushes U.S. rowing forward in all ways, and that's exactly what we want to see here.
I'm sure Mary Jones is also going for, you know, just speed on the course. It's not really sometimes even just about winning, seeing how much you can win by. She continues to push away in these red buoys. You know, Huntsville, Alabama native, very proud of her down there.
Yeah, I'm sure she's looking at the conditions today and saying, you know, I know the gold medal standard. Like, let's see how close we can get to that today. I mean, these are the conditions to do that in. So I'm sure not only her, but everyone on this field, you know, let's see what we can do today when we have the opportunity to race in such beautiful conditions.
But coming down to the line with an amazing race, we do have Mary Jones-Nabel taking that win, taking the position on senior national team for the fall. So excited to be cheering you on in Richiche, Czech Republic this fall for the World Championships. But followed up by Lisa Ray from Lincoln Park. Excellently executed race from her as well. Big gap back to the rest of the field. Really great regatta for that athlete as well. You know, big bumps in the rate from these other athletes as they come down to the line. Mary Wilson coming in third, followed by Alex Morse.
Yeah, and you know, here's a little replay from the first half of this race.
So, you know, the rest of the pack hanging with Mary Jones-Nabel as she started off that race. It was not a simple, easy win by any means, but she was able to push off all of her competitors and secure her spot on the national team this year. You know, training up in Boston. Lots of challengers from some heavyweight crews that she trains against earlier in the year, taking those lessons and bringing them here to Mercer. Very exciting to see just how fabulous our entire women's lightweight squad has been this year as we head back up to the start for the men's lightweight trials event. Also an excellent field. Great performances from the men's lightweight double this year as well.
So yeah, in the men's lightweight single, this is a trials event again, like the past women's lightweight single that we just saw. In lane 1, we have Hugh McAdam, unaffiliated USA. In lane 2, we got Hilton Park from OKC High Performance Center. In lane 3, we got Sam Melvin from New York Athletic Club. In lane 4, we got Jimmy McCullough from Texas. In lane 5, we got Alex Twist from Riverside. And in lane 4, we have Andrew Weinstein from Potomac.
And nothing between them as they're heading towards the first 500 marker on the race course. These men did have to go through semifinals yesterday, and our 2 semifinal winners are in the middle of your course. You can see in lane 4, Jimmy McCullough with that Texas uni on his Texas flag on his back, yellow M-Pocker, and next to him, Sam Melvin, white with that red stripe across his back. Both pushing up as fast as they can heading into the base of their race. Yeah,
this is a great, as similarly with all the races that we've seen today, a great representation of, excellence in U.S. rowing. We don't want to see, obviously we want to see dominant wins. We love to see it, but we want to see the field, a great field of really experienced, really high caliber elite athletes. And that's exactly what we're seeing here and we've seen all day today. Giving Jimmy a run for his money as well,
Yeah. Jimmy, just like Mary Jones, has had some international experience already this year. Coming back from World Cup 2 in Poznan, did a really great job against a very aggressive field there. Beating some Olympic medalists, including Gary O'Donovan. So really exciting to see him apply that in the race course. But Sam Melvin right there with him, only about a foot, maybe half a deck lead on the rest of the field, but between them, not much space back to Alex Twist over in lane 5 as well out of Riverside, and followed closely by Hugh McAdam in lane 1, who, also having international or national team experience from both of those athletes as well. Hugh McAdam, 2015, 2018 national team member, and Alex Twist, senior team from 2015, 2017, 2019. So everyone using their experience on the race course. It does look like Sam is pulling up even with Jimmy as we're getting into this middle section of the race coming towards the 1K. Does look like Sam is putting on a move. If you saw Sam Melvin race at the U23 championships in 2019 in Sarasota, Florida, he took the gold medal there with just a really great move at the 1,000 to push back the rest of the field. So seeing if he can repeat that performance today to secure his spot on the 2022 senior national team for the United States.
Yeah.
But Jimmy not giving up, stroke for stroke here in the middle of the field. Does look like they've got almost a boat length of open water back to the rest of the field.
And we saw Jimmy kind of look over there as he noticed Sam putting on this move. Strategically, a move here, it makes a lot of sense. You're halfway through, and you want to, right as everyone's starting to get tired, this might be a point where Sam decides, you know what, I'm going to kind of put it on here and hope that pushing away here will yield some good results, maybe scare the competition a little bit.
Yeah, you got to trust that base fitness and make them pay if they stick with you in the middle. That's always the goal, is exhaust them so they have no sprint left. See if you can just eke your bow out ahead, but it does not look like there's much space between Sam Melvin and Jimmy McCullough at this point.
Yeah, we've seen in some races where it almost seems like if the race was just a little bit longer, if the sprint was just a little bit longer, they might have eked it out. Sam here deciding he doesn't want to leave that up to chance and making that move early.
Up quite a lot here. Jimmy going with him, really exciting to see. Really nothing between these two athletes as they come into the final 500. Great cheers from the gazebo.
This is going to be a great race.
Oh my God.
As we're coming into the 500.
Bow ball to bow ball as they're crossing that buoy line at 500 to go. So we'll see what they can pull out.
Seems like, Sam really put on that move at the 1,000. Looks like Jimmy now is putting on a huge move as we cross into the last 500.
So we'll see who can do the most in the sprint. These men both going head-to-head, putting down a very tough race. It is really exciting to see this dual racing happen. There is almost nothing between them.
I mean, this is exactly what we want to see in a race. We want whoever ends up being the lightweight single to represent the United States to have been pushed to perform at their best. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. Looks like Sam trying to respond to Jimmy's move at the 500 after Jimmy held on to Sam through his move at the 1K. As we enter the red buoys, we're going to see what Sam has. When Sam won his gold medal in the U23 single, we saw an amazing sprint from him. We'll see if he has that left in the tank today to secure his spot in the senior lightweight single.
It does look like Jimmy McCullough is just pulling out a little bit. I'm sure his teammates from University of Delaware cheering him on. Sam from Orange Coast and then moving on to Columbia University. Those athletes cheering him on as they come down into these final buoys. With this angle, we can't really tell who's in the lead, so it's going to come down to these final 100 meters here on the course.
Oh, and we're watching from the finish tower here, and it's going to be a really exciting last couple strokes.
It does look like Jimmy is just out ahead of Sam, but really not too far ahead, maybe half a boat length, trying to pull out to a boat length lead as they're coming down to the line. It does look like Jimmy is going to cross the line for that win. Wow, really great sprint from Jimmy McCullough. Big,
there we go, celebration.
Excited celebration there at the end. Great race from Sam Melvin, pushing him all the way down the track. I'm sure that all of his teammates from Texas Rowing Center will be really excited to see Jimmy McCullough secure his spot on the 2022 senior national team. Big shout out to his coach, Peter Mansfield, for all the great work they do down at the Texas Rowing Center.
And, that's such a great example of, you might have a race plan, but it's also about being responsive in the moment. Sam made that move that I don't think Jimmy might have expected or planned for, obviously, but Jimmy made that move, that decision to hold on as best as he could as Sam made that move and then responded with a move at the 500 that Sam wasn't really able to continue to hold on to either. So, I mean, that was an amazing race strategy play out that we saw, and congratulations to Jimmy there.
Great racing from all crews. Not just Sam, Melvin, and Jimmy McCullough. Really great racing from all of these lightweights in this event. Great to see such competitive racing coming down the course today. Well, we've got a few more trials events coming down. Heading back up to the start line, we have the lightweight women's pair. Like these past few events, also a trials event today here, looking to get a spot on the senior national team. We did have a scratch in this event. Chloe Lewis and Akira Twist are not racing this event in lane 3, so we just have lane 4 and 5. In lane 4, we have Elsa Andrews and Ava Sack from unaffiliated USA. We do know that they are both Harvard Radcliffe lightweight athletes, so using those Harvard Radcliffe blades on the right of your screen, black and white blades there. And next to them in lane 5, Elaine Tierney and Solveig Imsdahl. And here are those results from the women's lightweight single. Taking that win, Mary Jones-Dable from Cambridge. Congratulations on securing your spot on the 2022 national team, and great racing from the rest of our field.
Great racing.
So really accomplished athlete, these 4 athletes, all very high caliber. Elsa and Ava on the right side of your picture have secured themselves a spot on the U23 national team this year. They will be racing in Varese, Italy for the U23 World Championships just later this month. They're probably heading out pretty soon. Racing starts on July 25th to July 30th.
Shout out to Elaine Tierney, a recent Temple graduate and fellow Sprig. Or ex-Sprig, I guess you could say.
We do have to say, Issa and I, both club athletes, travel a lot. You sort of get a lot of different affiliations. So racing under the Vesper banner for this race, but we all have our hearts in a little bit of different places in rowing.
Yeah, you gotta, you row with different people in different clubs, and it just solidifies the rowing community as a whole. We might have our little club affiliations, but honestly, at the end of the day, like we've been saying, we really just want to see everyone put together their fastest race here, because that's what will continue to propel this sport forward.
And it does look like these unaffiliated USA athletes, Ava and Elsa, taking up the rate, trying to push back. They have bow to stern on Solveig and Elaine, so not trying to let go of that margin, but it does look like Solveig and Elaine are sitting pretty comfortably ahead. Well, let's not say comfortably. Pretty early in the race still, about to head into the 1K. Similar lead as they had crossing through that first 500, so we'll see what these 4 athletes can do pushing in the center of the race. Solveig, a Cornell grad, big red cheering for them, has represented the United States in the lightweight women's double in 2012 for the U23 World Championships, winning gold. Also a few other, times racing, representing the United States, raced at the Pan American Games in 2019 in the pair and the 4. Elaine, also been on the national team before, last year in the lightweight double sculls for the 2021 World Under-23 Championships. So exciting to see using that experience on the race course today. We're getting past, you see that big orange buoy on the right side of the course. That means these athletes are in the second 1K of their race. So time to make a move, change your position, see if you can change the outcome and secure your spot on the U.S. team today. Big shouts from the side of the course. Keep them up. Cheer these athletes on as they're coming down, putting all of their great training from the year out on the race course. Almost nothing between it. They still seem to have kept that same margin. Solveig and Elaine do not seem to be able to break free of Elsa and Ava, so really great to see competitive racing from both these pairs. I'm sure Elsa and Ava are very thankful to have competitive rowing before they head to the U23 World Championships. Going to face down some stiff international competition there. But all 4 of these athletes, just looking at the blade work across the field, pretty gorgeous in these pairs.
Yeah. Looks great. I mean, the technique, yeah, there's not much I can say about it other than it looks amazing.
That's what you want to hear. Just be called amazing, nothing else. You see a stroke seat of Elsa and Ava's boat, just looking over, seeing how much overlap, that's going to spur them on. They know that they have not lost contact with these 2 Vesper athletes, but they seem to be taking a move, trying to break open. Does look like Solveig and Elaine have made a big move as they're heading towards that final 500, just crossed the line and just broke open, creating that space between these 2 boats. Solveig and Elaine looking very, very strong as they're coming through this gorgeous overhead shot. You just see them coming out of bow perfectly together. Nice little rotation out to their side to drop the blade in. Gorgeous rowing from both of these athletes. As they come down, looking around for those buoys to turn red as they hit the final 250 of the race course.
It looks like, like Charlotte was saying, we've held those same margins kind of that we've seen. So since, honestly, the first 500, it'll be interesting to see as we come into the buoys and the red buoys at the last 250 of the race, what happens here. We're not getting a great angle in terms of seeing where these crews are on each other, but it is a great view of both their technique. You can see the Radcliffe crew here putting on a little bit more of a yank, if you will, in the last portion of the stroke. You can see they've taken the rate up quite a bit, putting on a move, and now we see Lainey and Solveig see that move and try and respond.
And it does look like these 2 crews are neck and neck as they come down into these red buoys.
Yeah, Lainey and Solveig's got to respond with something here now.
Nothing between them as they come down to the line. I'm sure Elsa and Ava are looking to represent the United States twice this year if they can, but Solveig and Elaine not giving it to them. It looks like they just have half a deck lead, and it does look like our Vesper pair is going to take that win and secure their spot to the United States team. Big celebration from Solveig, clapping it on Elaine's shoulders. Great work from both of those athletes.
Huge props to Elsa and Ava. You know, they're already representing the U23. They're already representing the United States in the U23 lightweight women's pair, and for them to come out here and push their senior counterparts, huge props to them for that.
Yeah, and great race experience. We're so excited to be watching them in just a few weeks in Varese. Follow along, cheer them on. It's really great to see all of our international competition for Team USA later in the year.
We got a little replay of an above shot with the drone of Lainey and Solveig, as well as coming into the last couple strokes. Yeah, and here Lainey and Solveig able to eke out a win after they responded to the move from Elsa and Ava. Really great racing from both crews, and they've both made the national team now, so
congratulations on that win. And here we have the results from the men's lightweight single, taking that berth for Team USA for this year. Jimmy McCullough from Texas Rowing Center, really great job with a winning time of 7:07, followed closely up by Sam Melvin from New York Athletic Club and Alex Twist of Riverside. Our next race heading off, we have also had a scratch in the light men's pair. It will just be two crews out here on the race course. Our Riverfront Recapture pair scratching from this race. So in lane 3, we have New York Athletic Club represented by Justin Stevens and Harrison Severus, and against Vesper, our Vesper pair of John Reed Swanson and Noah Pingwell. So excited to see this another dual race, hopefully just as tight as the women, to secure their spot on the national team for this year. As mentioned before, these two lightweight pairs events are not Olympic events, but still faces stiff competition in the Czech Republic in the fall. It does look like we might have had some steering issues from that New York Athletic Club pair, so hopefully they'll get themselves straightened back up out in their lane heading down the course. So shout out again to our referees that have done really great work keeping everybody safe on the race course. If you are interested in becoming a referee, check out the USRowing website and the referee tab. It does look like our Vesper pair might also be headed over a bit to the starboard side of their lane, but there we go, correcting back to the center lane. We've got some, our New York athletes go, yeah, red. Here's our results from the lightweight women's pair.
In first, we got Lainey Tierney and Solveig Imstall, from Vesper, with a time of 7:38.6. And in second, followed closely by almost less than a second, we got Ava Sack and Elsa Andrews, unaffiliated USA.
Great racing from all four of those athletes. You'll be really proud of the race you put down.
Congratulations. And we'll see both of them representing the United States, Ava and Elsa in the U23 lightweight pair in Italy later this summer, and Lainey and Solveig in the fall.
Very exciting stuff. Our New York Athletic Club athletes, Justin Stevens coming from the Harvard lightweight team, Harrison representing Fordham, all of their teammates hopefully cheering them on as they head down the course. Always good to have your college teammates cheer for you, especially if you continue on after college. It's not the right choice for everybody, but Issa and I would say it is the right choice for us. So it's great to keep training at an elite level, trying to make another national team out here on the race course.
And like we said, the more people that join us in pursuing this, the faster we get as a program. So join us.
Like to see.
Join us.
Come, stay in rowing.
Forever. Never leave.
It does look like this New York Athletic Club pair staying out front, coached by John Boyd of Iona College, doing a really great job with these two guys, but almost a repeat of the last race we just had. They are not really breaking free of this Vesper pair of Swanson and Pingwell. So great job here. They do have open water, but really not a margin that could not be overcome by our trailing Vesper pair. So no one is out of it just yet. Sure, these New York Athletic Club athletes putting on an extra push as they're heading into that third 500. You can hear those shouts from the gazebo. Keep that cheering going, making sure that they have a great sprint to the end of the race course. You can hear someone shout it under the wires. It means they've hit 7:50 to go on the race course. Perhaps our trailing double from Vesper is going to go for an early sprint. You know, do everything you can to put yourself back in a good position on this race course. Doing a really good job here. I'm sure that Noah's teammates from St. Joe's are cheering them on as they race down the course here. But it does look like we still have this New York Athletic Club duo of Justin and Harrison staying in the lead. Nothing between them as they hit that final 500-meter mark on the course. Looking nice and strong here, but, you know, half a boat length back to our other pair, just hauling on it, this Vesper duo, doing everything they can to keep themselves in this race. I've definitely seen people get overtaken in this final 500, so no one is out of it until we hit the end. It'll be really exciting to see what they can do. All of these athletes looking for a spot on the national team for Richiche this fall, but really beautiful overhead shot of this New York Athletic Club duo.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Really great work as they're coming down, searching for those red buoys, doing everything they can to secure their spot on senior team. Looking really nice here as they head into those red buoys. Does look like they may have extended their lead on the Vesper pair, but nothing is secure until they hit that finish line. Really great work from these athletes, from all of their coaches. You know, summer training, sometimes it's hard to continue on after you've had a college season. Really great to see these athletes working hard to secure their spot on the national team. So coming down into the final section of this race course, you know, just a quick look out from a stroke seat, chasing that line down, coming into their final few strokes to secure their spot on senior national team.
Congratulations to that boat.
Nice job for that win from New York Athletic Club.
And
Really
just
exciting.
a reminder here that if you've won an event or placed in the top 3, please go pick up your medals at the medal stage at the platform just behind the
trailer
area. That's what I
you
was looking
won.
for.
You can't leave it behind.
Don't leave hardware behind.
So very important bragging rights from all of these winners, all of these medalists this weekend. Really great work from all of the crews out on the field. You know, that we've got two more trials events on the course. First up, the women's light quad. Some very, very accomplished athletes in this boat. We can see that they've just headed off down the race course. This is Riverside White Marsh Composite. Really excited for some fast times from this crew. As said before, with our uncontested races, you know, they're not facing anybody else down on the race course, but this quad did race the open quad event yesterday. So, you know, not the first race of this weekend for them and these very accomplished athletes.
They also raced in a very exciting, two of them raced a very exciting open women's double final yesterday.
So just a slight recap of that men's pair trials event, just looking back up slightly earlier on in the race when Vesper still had some contact with that winning New York Athletic Club pair, but really great work from all of those athletes. So as mentioned before, so an uncontested race coming up for the light women's quad to secure their spot on senior national team this fall. And we've got that quad headed down the course of Sophia Lewis, Liz Martin, Kara Stawicki, and Audrey Borson. And those results from that last light men's pair race, the winning pair from New York Athletic Club, Harrison Severus and Stevens from New York Athletic Club. Really nice work from all of those crews there. Shot back up the course, we have our light women's quad coming into the second 500 of the race. As Isa was saying, the caliber of these 4 athletes is unparalleled. They are really amazing athletes. We had a very competitive open doubles race yesterday, almost a mirror of the NSR2 trials race of Borson and Lewis versus Kara Kohler and Sophia Vitas. Very tight between those 2 crews, and we obviously saw Kara Kohler and Sophia Vitas with great racing on the international stage in the last month at World Cup 2 and Royal Henley. His quad coming down the course. Kara Stawicki, a 2-time national team member and 2019 world champion in the light women's pair. They're racing together, these 4, as Black Sheep Racing. Really great to see the work that they have been doing.
Love that.
Audrey did. I chatted with her yesterday. She said, although this quad is uncontested, it has been months in the making. We came together as a group after NSR1 to start training for this. Even though this race is uncontested, that doesn't mean we haven't had our fair share of trials coming to this trial. It's been a lot of fun and exciting moments and training sessions, but there's also been a lot of moments when we've been tested in and out of the boat. We are also excited to be at this point in our career where we get to join the national team and row for Team USA this year. Always an accomplishment. Obviously a goal that we all have competing for the national team is to get to say that we are representing the United States for the year. Isa and I up for our own spots this year, so we understand the struggle and the work that these 4 athletes put in.
Definitely.
Some other lists of accomplishments from these women. Liz won the women's lightweight single at Head of the Charles this past fall in 2021. She also rode for MIT Lightweights, a great D1 program, and set the lightweight concept to American record for the 1 minute and the 100 meters. You know, popping off with some watts from Liz. Like, that is pretty impressive from Liz Martin. Kara Stawicki rode for Lehigh University, and this will be her 3rd national team. Both Audrey and Sophia came from club teams, so it's really great to see those athletes, you know, not at a D1, D2, or D3 program, still finding such success after they have graduated college. Audrey rode for Grand Valley State University, and Sophia rode for William and Mary. Shout out to William and Mary, my dad's alma mater as well. Not from a rower family, but, you know, we love to see representation in all different parts of the country coming together in this boat. A big shout for Audrey there. She was a competitive softball player before turning to rowing. You know, Liz also a competitive figure skater before hopping in these boats.
Wow, we got a lot of experience.
Yeah,
here.
A lot of experience.
Yeah.
You know, often not enough talked about. Our coaches try to get us to just row the entire year. And it can really pay off to have that other athletic experience, you know, especially these very talented athletes as they come down to final 500. Just looking at this composure, these beautiful strokes here from this quad. It helps to have those other skills and to, you know, maybe get off your back, your legs for a little bit, hop out of the boat, do some practicing in other movements just to keep your body healthy. But gorgeous rowing from these 4 athletes. Liz Martin hopes to follow in the footsteps of her MIT lightweight national team inspirations, Linda Murray and Lauren Avers. So big shout out to the women that have come before us and that inspire us to continue on the national team.
Huge shout out.
Definitely, we've had a lot of our own heroes in rowing, and it's really exciting to see, you know, this year with our anniversary of Title IX, all of the women in rowing specifically that have done so much for women's sport in the United States. And these women continuing the tradition here, looking gorgeous, just smooth and connected as they come down into the final 250 of the race. I'm sure their coaches are going to be so excited for the work that they've put in and will continue to put in the next few months before the World Championships in Richice. Please go support our athletes that are winning these trials events. You know, elite racing is very difficult, and we all need the cheering on, and this quad does as well. Really exciting stuff from Sophia Lewis, Liz Martin, Kara Stwicki, and Audrey Borson as they come through the line.
Absolutely powering through the line.
Yeah,
Very
you know,
impressive.
Leaving it all out there, even if there was no one next to them. Really, really great racing from this quad.
It's awesome.
Beautiful stuff, women.
Coming up next, we'll be seeing the men's lightweight quad trials. Here we have a little replay of the women's quad trial. Quad.
But really flawless rowing from these athletes. You can just see the experience that these 4 athletes have had, been pushed in all of their races this year. Kara Stwicki bringing that national team experience to the boat. Really just beautiful, beautiful work out there. Can't wait to see what they can do on the world stage this fall, hopefully bringing home another medal for the U.S. squad. Looking back up at the start, we have just 3 entries in the men's quad event. In lane 3, Conshohocken. In lane 4, Riverside. And lane 5, Undine. We'll get that race underway in just a moment. If you're following along on the live stream, also always great to pull up here now. You can see the results roll in, scroll back to see the accomplishments of these athletes on previous days of the racing. Always nice to see and compare the times after they've finished racing. In this Conshohocken boat, we have Simon Dubiel, Eli Rabinowitz, Justin Schmidt, and Troy Reisenberger. And there's the winning time for that Riverside White Marsh composite, 6:44. Amazing work from that quad. In the Riverside boat, we have Mats Terwich, Ashton Knight, Ian Richardson, and Sean Richardson, coached by Mark Grinberg out of Riverside up on the Charles in Cambridge. And our third crew from Undine, Dylan Hartwick, Matthew Greershaper, Jeffrey Hirsch, and William Risco, coached by Joseph Quaid.
Let's go, Undine.
Got a big shout from the commentary booth down here from Colleen, Go Undine. Sorry for screwing up your name. I've been talking too much already today. I can't enunciate. You know, it does look like these 3 quads are very close heading into that second 500 of the race course. This Conshohocken quad will be racing at the 2022 World Championship under 23 World Championship in Varese later this month, having won the trials a few weeks ago in Sarasota.
Yeah, congratulations to them for that as well. And, you know, like we saw in the lightweight women's pair, it's these U23 boats are getting a little bit extra racing experience and helping out their senior counterparts by racing here, you know, pushing their competition and getting some experience and practice while doing it. So we love to see that, and that's definitely good for the sport here.
Mm-hmm. So that Conshohocken boat on the right side of your screen does look like they have pulled out ahead. So, you know, very big accomplishment for these athletes. You know, they can go race in Varese and then come back in the fall and race in the Czech Republic for senior world champs. But right behind them, that Riverside quad followed up by Undine. Looking really nice here as they're coming towards the 1K. Still staying maybe just bow to stern on the rest of the field. That Conshohocken quad staying out front, coached by Craig Hoffman. And we saw quite a few Conshohocken boats this week medal to some amazing racing out here on Lake Mercer. All 12 of these athletes taking advantage of this beautiful weather that we finally grabbed today. Not quite the stiff headwind that we were facing down the course yesterday. And it does look like this Conshohocken boat has gotten open water on the rest of the field. They'll be hoping to make the, you know, that mid-race move, probably took a little push at the 1K to make sure they can secure their lead on the rest of the field.
Yeah, really nice, drive. Look at how they kind of, I can't tell if it's the video or it looks like we had a little moment there, but they're looking really relaxed. Those blades are looking super uniform, and as we can get this beautiful drone shot, we can see their bodies and blades moving in sync here with a really nice push from the catch all the way into the finish.
And you see that Bousey just quick glance over his shoulder, trying to establish where he is on the race course. In that previous shot, we saw them go through the 750, so they're about to head into the final 500 meters of the race course. But looking nice, long, and strong on this race course. Quad's pretty fast boat out there. It's always really exciting to see what these men can get out of this boat class.
Yeah. But how we talked about before yesterday with some other quad final events, can hear the crowd cheering them on into the last 500 meters of this race.
Looking really good out there. Does look like they've got pretty good spacing on the rest of the field, trying to keep it up in the final sprint of this piece. Big shout out to Five Tribes Cinema Productions for all of our shots out here today. Really beautiful drone shots. That's what it's great having rowing video. Just seeing the quality of these athletes and what they've produced, it really helps to pay back all of the effort that these athletes have put into their training, and a very well-deserved lead from this Conshohocken quad.
Yeah, shout out to all the people that make it their mission to really showcase athletes at their best, especially in this sport where, might not always get the recognition that they deserve, but
we all put in the work. So
yeah.
Really great to have everybody helping us out and getting to watch your accomplishments here on YouTube. Like and subscribe as we hit this red buoys of this men's lightweight quad event. These men going for their spot on the senior team this year. So very exciting. They race in Varese in a few weeks and take that training and race experience back to the national team and come back for world champs in Richice, Czech Republic. And it looks like coming down to the line is Conshohocken that will be taking the win. Congratulations to this quad of Simon Dubiel, Eli Rabinowitz, Justin Schmidt, and Troy Reisenberger. Great work from those athletes. Congratulations to that hard work from their coach, Craig Hoffman, to get them to this place. Really nice work from coming in second, Riverside, and third, Undine. Really great race. See a little earlier on, our trailing two boats still keeping pretty good contact with Conshohocken, but they were able to break through to that open water lead for the finish.
Congratulations to that crew from Conshohocken, and great job all crews. Got a little replay here of the finish. You can see they really took the rate up here, focused on giving the best performance they could today. So great job.
Yeah, really great effort coming through the line. You can see that Strokesy just clicking his speed coach. They're going to take the data from this and go back to training before they head off to Italy. So congratulations to those four men. And here are those results with a winning time of 6:05.
Wow.
Conshohocken. Congratulations on that performance.
That's
and
fast.
Good luck for the rest of your season. Really excited to have you secure your spot on senior national team for this year.
Great job.
Well, we've got a quick break coming up. Those are the ends of our trials events. So congratulations to all of those winners who have secured their spot on the senior national team. An amazing accomplishment to get to say that you are going to represent the United States for the World Championships in Richice. Please follow along with their progress. Help out all those athletes as they continue to train for the next few months, and watch them as they go down the course in Richice at the end of this fall. We're going to sign off for just a second, and we'll be back with the women's U23 single race starting at 9:40. And we're back, heading up to the start line for the rest of our finals for today. These are not trials events, but these women have put in really great racing over the past few days. This is the women's U23 single final. In lane 1, we have Cecilia Plass on the right side of your screen. Lane 2, Taylor English from Green Racing Project. Lane 3, Isabella Bagley from Virginia. Lane 4, Julia Batson from Green Racing Project. Lane 5, Catherine Edwards from Great Bay. And Lane 6, Sophia Craver from Great Bay. So this race will get underway in just a few moments. You'll see those stake boat holders holding on to the stern of their boats. These athletes tapping back and forth, making sure they feel like they're comfortably centered in the middle of the lanes, getting ready for our umpire in the middle of your screen to call the start. Definitely a stressful portion of the race, I would say, just sitting up, trying to control your breathing.
It's like that moment, like once the, well, in this case, are they using lights? No. Once the race starts, it's just a flurry of like activity and excitement, and the race is underway, so you're just getting right into your first base strokes or your high strokes and then into your base strokes. But it's really those like couple minutes beforehand when you're forced to sit still is when the nerves really peak, in my opinion.
It does look like those athletes have all squared up at the catch, so it means the umpire must be pulling the crews. So they'll go through and say each of the lanes, or if they're doing a quick start, they'll inform you of that and just say attention, go. As Isa was saying, you can have lights to the start, flags. Sometimes it's just on the umpire call. Each race course is a little bit different setup. On the international stage, we occasionally have a boot, so that holds the bow of our boat and will drop down when it is time to go. But these athletes, responsible for keeping themselves centered and just listening to the umpire's call here. So I'm pretty excited for this race. I think it's going to be a pretty awesome battle down the race course. We have Isabel Bagley in lane 3, already selected to represent the U.S. in the lightweight single sculls in Varese, Italy in just a few weeks. Taylor English in lane 2 also has junior national team experience in 2017-2019, rowing the double at Junior World Championships. Likewise, Catherine Edwards in lane 5, an alternate to the junior team in 2019. And we're off for this race of the women's U23 single final. Everybody off getting to a really good start. Maybe with a slight advantage that Virginia woman Isabel Bagley in lane 3, but really nothing between her and most of the other athletes. So we'll see as the buoys turn to yellow and these athletes start to settle into the base of their race. Talking to single scullers, it's pretty easy to get the boat up to speed, and you sometimes suggest you get up and going, and that's the speed you're going to maintain. You don't quite get as, low on the split and then settle back down to base. You're just trying to get right into that base rhythm, get a good lock on the water, settle into your stroke rate that is going to be the most effective, and head down the course. Conditions still beautiful as they were earlier this morning, so it'll be some really nice flat racing for these athletes. Don't have to contend with too much wind. Does look like there's a slight crosshead, but nothing too difficult for these athletes to face.
Yeah, hopefully these conditions will stay and that we don't jinx it by talking about it, but it does look beautiful out here for them. And right now we're just seeing the field start to separate a little bit. Lanes 3, 4, and 5 pushing out. It looks like lane 4, so that's going to be Julia Batson from the Green Racing Project and her teammate. Oh, excuse me, her teammate's actually in lane 2. But it looks like Julia from GRP pushing out ahead a little bit here, trying to find some separation between her and Isabella and Catherine in the lanes around her. So she's trying to, establish herself early in this race. Give herself good positioning heading into the second 500. Pretty
tight packed field still. Julie Batson coming from Smith College. Big shout out to them and the great work they do at Smith. Her teammate, Taylor English, they'll be doubling up and joining forces in the double final later today. But it does look like it's still a battle between Julia and Isabella Bagley.
Shout out to Julia, Yas Queen.
Doing really great work with the GRP this summer. We love the squad up there. Definitely a great racing opportunity and a training opportunity for anybody watching this race. An amazing place to train for a summer or maybe later when you're an elite athlete.
It's absolutely beautiful up there.
It really is. But they're really doing a great job coming down this course. Sometimes if the race proceeds, in a very predictable fashion, you get this V-shaped formation with these two center lanes coming out in front. They did come through with the faster times in the semis. So unsurprising to see these two athletes leading, but really great racing from all the field. No one really getting dropped in this second 500. So we'll see who can make a move in the middle 1,000, really establish themselves as a race leader.
Now we can see Isabella here in lane 3, the lightweight U23 single sculler, who'll be racing in Italy later this month, actually. Kind of putting it on here a little bit as we cross into the 750 of the race, trying to make a move here. We can see that. Let's see how Julia responds as she sees that out of the corner of her eye. Not to be left behind, though. Catherine Edwards from Great Bay in lane 5, making a move here. I'm not quite sure if she can see Taylor English in lane 2. It looks like they're pretty even there. So we'll see how that shakes out, as well as Sophia Craver, also from Great Bay in lane 6, pulling up alongside her teammate.
It does look like Taylor English has put on a really good move here in lane 2 on the right side of your screen to try to pull up even with her teammate and Isabella Bagley. So it'll be really exciting to see what she can do in the second half of this race. So great racing as we're coming down here. Did get some fun facts from these athletes, sent us in some things. Julia's top artist is Nicki Minaj. Definitely gets her hyped for races like this. I know we're all a big fan of, putting on those tunes that help us get prepared for a race.
Not only is she her top artist, but she's in the top 0.5% of listeners on Spotify, which is a huge accomplishment. Takes hours and hours of work to accomplish that. So
maybe hours and hours on the erg paying off here. But you see these three athletes pulling even. It does look like Taylor English has rode through her teammate.
Wow.
Julia Batson and Isabella Bagley. So really great move through the 1,000.
Yeah, we love races where we see some shakeups in the placements as we get through the 1K. Looks like, as Charlotte was saying, Taylor said, I'm not going to be left behind here by my teammate. Going to put on a huge second to an almost third 500 of this race and establish herself as we come into the second, I would say the last 750 of the race.
Mm-hmm. You can see she just keeps looking over starboard side. She can see those two athletes just slightly behind her. She's trying to break contact, almost getting clean open water on them, really just overlapped that bow ball on Isabella Bagley and her stern deck.
Yeah, we saw Taylor English there look over as she was trying to see where she was on the field. As we've said, it can be hard at times in the heat of the race to take stock of what's going on around you, especially, if you're in lane 4 and not able to see what's going on in lane 2.
It does look like Taylor English has broken a clear, maybe not quite, but very, very close. You see her teammate, Julia Batson, looking over her shoulder, just checking in with how far she's gotten. You can see that exhaustion on all three of these athletes' faces as they're in the final 500 of the race course. We're going to see who can put on the best sprint and take that gold medal.
Do want to commend Isabel. It looks like she's just really stayed super focused, super composed, and really racing her own race, Like we've talked about, there's a line between, taking stock of what's happening around you in the race and responding appropriately and also executing your race plan. As she is a lightweight competing against open weights, I'm sure she's just here to use the motivation of the crews around her, execute a race that she knows that she can replicate if it's, what she wanted in future races. So props to her for coming out against a really strong open weight field here in the U23 single.
It's definitely hard sometimes lightweight if you're facing a stiff headwind, but really great conditions, and she's taking advantage of them this morning. So we'll see. It does look like Taylor English has pulled away a little bit to put herself in the lead of this race, hitting those red buoys, the final 250 of the course, but not an uncatchable margin as she's heading down into her final strokes of the course, perhaps spurred on by her favorite artist, Taylor Swift. You know that Taylor connection is very strong and gives you good energy as you hit the last part of your race.
Yeah, she says her hype song is Take a Hint by the Victorious Cast, which I think we can all agree is a banger.
So hitting this hype train as she gets into the final 100 meters of the race course. Taylor English looking very strong, representing Stanford University, you know, great women's program out there. And it does look like she's been able to push away with quite a few lengths of open water to take that win. Great racing Taylor, followed up closely by Isabel Bagley from UVA, and Taylor's teammate, Julia Batson, coming in third.
Yeah, we'd love to see some fluid rowing. That fluid.
Hey! Great racing from our two Great Bay athletes, and coming in sixth place, our OKC High Performance Center athlete, Cecilia Plass. Really amazing racing from those 6 women, all to be commended for some excellent tactics and power out on the race course.
Congratulations. Here's a little replay off the start. You can see, you know, there was really not that much separation, but look how far back lane 2 Taylor English was. Even, you know, at the 750 of the race, she really put on a huge move and never really stopped taking seats, taking inches on the rest of the field, and it really paid off. Great job to all the competitors in this race.
Really beautiful overhead shot here. And we will see our winner, Taylor English, together with our bronze finisher, Julia Batson, combine in the U23 double later today. So get recovered, ladies, and come back for another great race on the course. We've headed back up to the start. Our next race is the men's U23 single. Really excited to see these guys come down the course. In lane 1, we have Braden Arthur from Grain Racing Project. Lane 2, Robert Sherman from Conshohocken. Lane 3, Gianluca Foschi-Welko from Conshohocken. Lane 4, Jack Stone from Greenwich. Lane 5, Dylan Green, Mendota.
Go Badgers.
And lane 6, David Ulig from Vesper. Could not start off the day without a nice Go Badgers for Dylan Green in lane 5. And it does look like he's having a pretty good race going stroke for stroke with his neighbor in lane 4, Jack Stone, but it does look like lane 2, Conshohocken's Robert Sherman is out in front. A lightweight racing these heavyweights. So,
you know,
taking advantage of the conditions, that flat water.
Yeah, you can kind of
for Navy lights.
Yeah, we can kind of see everyone trying to look around, take stock of the field as they head into the second 500 of this race. Shout out to Braden, who's in lane 1 here representing Green Racing Project with his lovely Piner. Shout out to the Piner gang. As well as representing, or shout out for reinstatement of the GW men's rowing team. We'd love to see that as well.
Yeah, you know, we've had too many rowing teams cut by collegiate programs recently. And here's our race results from that last final of the women's U23 single race. Taylor English from GRP taking that win ahead of Isabel Bagley from Virginia women. Good luck to Isabella as she heads to Varese. We're really excited to see her race out there. And rounding out the podium, Julia Batson from GRP as well. Yeah, back out here, as I was saying, you know, we've had some rowing teams cut. Not what we want to see as a rowing team, a rowing community. So coming together to support those GW heavyweight men in trying to convince their athletic departments how dumb a mistake they made by cutting such a historic program. It really is true.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's
rowing
really true.
is such an important sport. You know, maybe not the flashiest. They can't all have great race coverage like we're bringing to these events today, but very, very important to keep those teams and support the whole community. Does look like our Conshohocken athlete, Robert Sherman, still staying out front, looking like he's very aggressive on that front end, trying to make sure that his bow stays out ahead of the competitors. But lane 3, his teammate, Gianluca Foschi-Welko from Conshohocken, also giving him a run for his money, representing Penn heavyweights. So you got that good Philly pride out on the water, pushing right into him.
can hear some Wisco cheers from the shores. It certainly pays to have a huge club here cheering on the Mendota crews that are going to be out here today racing.
These two athletes, just going stroke for stroke, trying to make sure that they put themselves in the best position as they head towards that 500-meter mark.
Yeah, I was talking to...
Hey, I love that.
We love that.
Do it for friendship. Do it for your friends. Do it for that gold medal.
We love to hear that.
Reasons to motivate for rowing.
We love to hear that commentary from team captain Breck Duncan. Shout out to Breck.
It does look like these two Conshohocken athletes, probably very good friends themselves, battling it out on the race course. Neck and neck. Our lane 4 athlete from Greenwich, Jack Stone, not to be left behind here. Some really great racing from all of these athletes. Heading into these final sprints, it does look like these athletes working quite hard in that middle section of their race. Nobody leaving up just for the sprint, pushing it out as far as they can to put their bow ball out ahead.
Yeah, we really see this athlete giving it all they got, really coming into the finish as hard as he can.
But pretty clean finishes, even with that acceleration, getting back out and around for the next stroke. It does look like Robert Sherman still staying out ahead, but followed very, very closely by his teammate, Gianluca Fosciuolco. So we shall see battle of the Conshohocken athletes. They've been doing a great job. We had that Conshohocken lightweight quad win earlier this morning, so all of those athletes doing a superb job at this regatta as they hit the last 250 on the race course. We'll see if anybody can change their position in this final stroke. Who has one last gear to turn on, hit the jets, get to the finish line first. It does look like Robert Sherman not letting up, bringing the rate up even more as he comes down to the line, but chased down by some of his teammates from these competitors, not letting go. And as we head to the finish line, does look just like with a little open water. Robert Sherman's going to take that win, followed up by his teammate, Gianluca Fosciuolco, and coming in third, Jack Stone from Greenwich. You can just see the effort on all of their faces as they sit back and breathe coming through the line.
Yeah, that was a definite red line for all those guys as they, did everything they could in those last 250 meters.
Really awesome racing out there, just leaving it all on the race course as we have our last athlete finishing up the race.
We got a little replay of the second 500 here. As you can see, the separation was almost non-existent there for a lot of this race, which really goes to show kind of the strategy necessary. You're sizing up the rest of the field, and at a certain point, we got these Conshohocken athletes who decided, we're going to take it up a bit, see what we can do, see if we can push off here. And they did so early in the race and continued to take seats as they moved forward into the last 500. So congratulations to them and to all the athletes of this event for a great showing today.
Really, really excellent racing. One of our catchphrases, it's what we like to see out here.
We love to see it, and it's good for the sport, you know that?
It really is. You can take these races back home to your team later in the year. A lot of those athletes, still racing collegiately, and they're going to bring that experience back to their teams.
So we have, this is actually not the women's pair final, but this is the women's single final. In lane 1, we got Sarah Buse from Riverside. In lane 2, we got Emmeline Lawrence from Great Bay. In lane 3, we got Savannah Breha from Orion. In lane 4, we got Lauren O'Connor from Orion. In lane 5, we got Hannah Painter from Orion. And in lane 6, we got Cicely Nodden from Cambridge.
So, Advanced Rowing Initiative of the Northeast showing up. Really great work from Eric Catalano to get all of these athletes in the final. You know, they have a great group. If you can push each other in practice, it shows in these race results, and you get
really
a whole squad out here. So we'll see who can take the lead. It does look like we do not have very much separation as these athletes pass through the first 500 of the race.
Yeah, Savannah and Lauren O'Connor yesterday took the dub in the women's double in a very close race with the lightweight double that we saw, really pushing some open weight athletes both at NSR2 and here at Summer Nationals. So that was a great race to see. And right now we're seeing Savannah pushing off from the rest of the field early on as we enter the second 500. Obviously, we know anything can happen, and we'll be looking forward to see who decides to put on some moves here, see if they can challenge her.
Savannah did come away with the win in the time trial, so it is unsurprising to see her trying to establish herself as the race leader here. Go Bombers. I'm sure she's got all of Ithaca College, her alma mater, cheering her on here as she comes into the second 500.
Yeah, not to be forgotten, we got Lauren O'Connor. Go Badgers in this pink boat right here in lane 4. You know, as Savannah's pair partner, she's probably really used to rowing with both Hannah, who's in the lane to her left, and Sav in the lane to her right. So we'll see what she can do here. In lane 5, we've got Hannah Paintner, teammate obviously also of the Orion women in this event. So, you know, they're going to be really used to racing, doing pieces, doing steady state with each other, hopping into quads and doubles together just to get different feel for racing and different boats, and seeing a little bit about what we can learn from each other, you know. So that'll be interesting to see what they do here, you know.
And not to be forgotten, on the outside, Cicely Madden in lane 6, the left side of your screen, 6-time national team member, graduated from Brown in the quadruple sculls last year in Tokyo. You know, just a superb athlete, and we'll see if she can just creep up on the rest of the field. But it does look like she's sitting in third, maybe tied across with Emmeline Lawrence, who also is bringing that junior national team experience from 2018, also in the quad, so transferring those skills from those bigger boats to the single here.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about this a lot. You know, when you're in a single, it's up to you to steer, motivate, and be the power. And when you're in that 6th lane, you know, you might be able to sneak up on the field. You know, I'm not quite sure what Lauren's peripheral vision is allowing her to see here, if she's able to see Cicely in that lane, in that 6th lane, and push off of her, or if she's really using Sav's puddles to her right. You know, I find it hugely motivating when you're down, you see the other boat's puddles get closer and closer. You know that they're bigger and bigger, meaning they're, you know, like seconds away from
from overtaking.
Yeah. So that can be really exciting as well. It does look like Lauren has pushed off a little bit here from Cicely in lane 6. Not quite sure on the angle here, but
super tight between Cicely, Hannah Painter, and Emmeline Lawrence in lane 2. Just a little bit back on the rest of the field. Sarah Busey over in that lane 1, which is now on the left side of your screen. So it does look like the race for third is going to be very, very tight, but see if any of those athletes can push up on Lauren O'Connor. Hannah Painter, you know, known as the hype training college, so bringing the hype here, making sure she stays in a good position in this race. But Savannah Breha commanding lead since the 500, and she's just pushing her bow ball down the course, trying to elongate her lead on the rest of the field. So these athletes could be competing later in the summer for a spot on senior national team here. This is not a trials event, but Kara Kohler declined the bid for the singles. So some of these athletes might be coming back to try to take a spot in the single sculls for the United States.
Yeah, I definitely go so far as to say this might be a little preview of that event for sure. So I'm sure these athletes will be taking what they learn here and apply in a month from now when they compete to represent the United States in the trial event for this single.
You know, big push there you see from Lauren O'Connor in that pink shell, trying to come back on her teammate.
Not quite sure on the angle here, but shortly we'll see probably what's going on as we head into the last 250 of the race.
I mean, really great rowing here from Savannah. You can just see gorgeous strokes from above here. And we'll see who has pushed up into that medal stands position. Savannah coming down. It does look like she's still maintaining her lead on the rest of the field, but we shall see who can charge down the course behind her. You know, just beautiful work from all 6 women, all very accomplished athletes, and bringing their diverse experience out here to Mercer. So many of these athletes we did see at trials events earlier this year, so they've been on Mercer. They have a pretty good sense of this course, you know. Gauge where they are, and they're getting their last cheers from our friends down at the finish line tower. Got a few folks out here cheering for them in their final 250. And this nice shot of Savannah as she comes through her final strokes. Maybe, you know, taking up one more gear as she comes down towards the line. It does look like Lauren O'Connor has maintained that 2nd place position, and I'd hazard a guess that Cicely Madden sitting in 3rd to round out the podium. But really great racing from these crews. See what happens as we come down to the line. Savannah just takes a little check over her shoulder, seeing if the line is coming. Last few strokes here. She's got clear water on the rest of the field to take the win, followed up by her teammate, boatmate Lauren O'Connor, and followed in 3rd by Cicely Madden. Great racing from all of those crews. You can see exhaustion. Lauren looks like she's looking over her shoulder, congratulating her teammate. Sportsmanship is what we love to see out here.
Good for the sport. Good for the sport here, ladies. Great job.
And our last finisher just coming over the line. Awesome racing from those 6 women. Yeah, you know, when you get a breath back and you can congratulate them, really great to see all that hard work. It's really nice to win a race against tough competitors. It makes it mean even more. So great job to Savannah Breha for taking that win for Orion.
And like we were saying, you know, this obviously it's going to be great for the top 3 podium winners here to celebrate this win. But this is really like another step in the journey for this year. Like Charlotte was mentioning, we're going to have senior trials here back at Mercer here in the first week of August. And I'm very, very sure that we'll see all these people here racing again to see who will represent the United States in the single at the World Championships this year.
And heading back up to the top, we have the final of the men's single to match the women's race we just saw. Does look like they're crossing through about the 500-meter mark of this race. You know, nothing between these athletes as they head down the course.
In the men's single final, here we have in lane 1, Thaddeus Babic from Penn AC. In lane 2, Alvaro Torres Macias from Row House. In lane 3, we got Gregory Davis, unaffiliated USA. In lane 4, we got Elliot Putnam from Penn AC. In lane 5, Thomas Pfeiffer from Penn AC as well. And in lane 6, Mark Cowenhoven from Penn AC also. So we got 4 Penn AC athletes here. So that's going to be awesome to see. I'm sure they have a lot of experience training and racing and piecing and steady skating together. So not strangers to doing pieces side by side. And we'll see how that experience plays out here.
Shout out to Elliot, who's also taken some time training up at New York Athletic Club. So like we were saying before, these club athletes popping back and forth, training with different people, elite rowing, you know, not a very wide world. Issa and I friends with some of these competitors in this race. And great to see everyone doing a great job out here. It does look like we've got lane 3, Greg Davis in the lead at the moment. He did a great job winning the time trial, winning his semi yesterday to secure his spot in a middle lane, but followed closely behind him is Elliot Putnam and Mark on that outside lane from Penn AC. Here, no one has pushed away in this second 500. Greg just trying to break open water on the rest of the field. We'll see if he can do it, set himself up for a really great middle 1,000.
And we do have some guest commentators who, you know, we're going to have them step in here for a second as to commentate the men's single final.
You might have seen them out on the race course earlier this week.
We got best friends Luke Ryan and Webster Thompson on the mic.
Yeah, well, the men's single this week's really been quite the barn burner of an event. You got Greg Davis coming out hot. The man is spinning silk on the daily every race he's been through. But, you know, he's being pushed pretty hard by Finn.
I think, yeah, we got to look at Elliot Finn Putnam right next to him, looking smooth, putting the meters in. The puddles are looking good.
You know, when you get like this deep into a race on Mercer, you realize there's a little less space than you're hoping for. So you got to start making your moves early. It's 2,000 meters feels long at the beginning and short by the end. You know what I'm talking about, Luke?
I've felt it at least twice this week. Let me tell you, these guys, all of us have put down quite a day on the time trials, switching from a huge rip and tailwind into a huge headwind the next day. So they're really getting the full spectrum of the Mercer racing experience here, and I think having this kind of weather here on finals day is the best you could ask for.
You know, when it comes down to it, what really impresses in events like this is when you got guys like Tom Pfeiffer and Mark who are double racing this thing, taking gold in the double yesterday against Luke and I in what was really like a glorious run down the course for a bit of a grudge match between the four of us. Yeah. But
it looks like they've got about 600 meters here, and I think we've got Finn moving out a little bit. Pfeiffer in lane 5. Coming out pretty well there. Greg, also, these guys, this could be anyone's race here. I think these 3 guys look like they could all have a shot at winning. Hearing the fans coming right by the gazebo here. So that's a nice thing about Mercer. You get to that last 500 and you can hear everyone cheering for you. It's a little bit of extra gas in the tank for that last sprint.
Yeah, it really helps you make that final kick that we're really seeing these guys start to raise the rate, bring it up. We got Tom Pfeiffer making that big move right here on the field. Great work out of him.
Yeah, big steps here. I mean, oh, there's Mark's bow. So even the top 4 here are all pretty close to each other. I'd say within, I don't know, 10 meters or so. And we're switching camera angles back to our drone. Beautiful shot of Pfeiffer
when you race these guys a lot, you realize some of them have a big start, some of them have a big sprint, but when you get to the A final like this, it's really, these guys all have very full and complete race plans. So we're about to see a lot of kicks out of a lot of guys, but it looks like Pfeiffer is really trying to put it away right here as he approaches the red buoys.
Yeah, they're coming into view of the finish line here. I mean, this is a good close race. Fans starting to quiet down. This is the other thing about Mercer is the fans really drop off in that last 250. So you get to spend that last 45 seconds or a minute just alone in your boat with you and your thoughts and your competitors. It's really beautiful. We'll zoom out here. Oh, Thaddeus moving up there on the outside. Really great racing from him. He knocked me out of this race yesterday. It's great to see. Yeah, he's got quite a sprint. So I'm excited to see what he can pull here in this last 200 meters of the race.
Yeah, big shout out to Thad. He's been throwing down this week, and he's really making it happen right now in this last 250. As we know, he's a big, strong guy. So when he gets the rate up, he starts putting some watts through those blades. Yeah. So this race in the midfield is getting very exciting as we can see them coming across the finish line.
Great job, Alvaro, also. Really punching his way out here. There's Tom across the line. Finn looking good.
Greg Davis in 3, and there we go for Thad in 4.
Mark and Alvaro sprinting out for that spot.
Wow. That's an amazing men's single race, Luke. What do you think? If you had to sum that race up in one word, what word would you use? I completely agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
It's indescribable. If I could describe it in one word, indescribable.
So really feature for that race. Thanks so much to Webb and Luke for hopping on the mic. You know, they raced that event earlier in the week, so bringing some inside info to the commentary booth down here. But
thank you so much, guys.
We love to see it. Everybody here on the race course bringing a lot of knowledge and info on these competitors, but Fife just bringing it down for a crushing race there to take the win. You know, really great to see that move in the middle of the race, pushing themselves up. Elliott Finn Putnam coming in second, and Gregory Davis rounding out the top of this field.
Yeah, shout out again to our guest commentators, Webster Thompson, Luke Ryan.
Back to Issa Darvin and myself, Charlotte Buck, on the mic as we head back up to the start for the women's U23 pair final. really excited to see these athletes. In lane 4, we do have Sack and Andrews, unaffiliated USA, who raced that trials event earlier this morning, coming in second behind that Vesper pair of Solveig and Elaine. So,
Yeah, they're really out here getting a lot of race experience.
Yeah. We're going to bring all of that experience to Varese later this summer.
In lane 1, we got Hafer and Mayberry from the USRowing High Performance Camp. In lane 2, we got Wiedlire and Alexander from Greenwich. In lane 3, we got Coaster and Leganzowski from Greenwich Crew. Shout out Leganzowski Rowing Association. In lane 4, like Charlotte said, we got Sack and Andrews, who were racing in that earlier trials event against the other lightweight pair, from unaffiliated. In lane 5, we got Ruff and Wayne, also from Greenwich Crew. And in lane 6, we got Alton and Denninger from USRowing High Performance Camp. So we got 2 clubs, we got several Greenwich pairs here, as well as 2 high performance pairs.
But it does look like that pair of Elsa Andrews and Ava Sack just pushing out to a slight lead as they're hitting the 750 on the race course. Unsurprising, those athletes have put together some great racing this weekend, and I'm sure are looking to cap off the week, with a win. Honestly, does not look like those 2 athletes already did 2K. Looking very long and strong and composed. I'm sure that they have put through some very tough training to make sure that they can end up in a position like this where they're able to do 2Ks back-to-back without too much trouble.
Yeah, I know we've talked about this before, but it's really all about trusting your fitness in this part of the race. You might be tired, even in this case, tired from previous races or from races even yesterday and the day before. Like we said on the first day, you think, I'm only doing a couple, a 2K, it takes 7-8 minutes. It's not going to be that bad, but it really does add up over day after day. So when you're getting to these last days of these competitions, which are the most important races, obviously, you gotta find that fitness, dig deep, and really push hard.
I do really miss those, 6-ish minutes races in the 8 when you're back in a pair and it's taking a bit longer than an 8s race, especially if you've got a fast college team that you're representing. But Elsa Andrews and Ava Sack, representing Harvard Radcliffe lightweights during the year, doing a really great job here, just continuing to extend their lead. And it does look like, the battle here is really between these 2 Greenwich crews in lane 3 and lane 5. So I'm sure that they have trained against each other, who's going to make a bigger move. It does look like lane 3, Legendowski and Coester are moving away from their competitors.
Yeah, this Harvard lightweight pair here, it looks like they're applying what they've probably learned from the last race against the Vesper lightweight pair. We saw in that race, both crews kind of sat through the, I would say, second to maybe third 500, but here it looks like they're taking a move, really pushed away from the field in this, as they crossed over into the second 1,000 meters of this race. So, that just goes to show each race is a huge learning opportunity. They might have sat a little bit in the last race and had to put on a huge sprint in the last 500. It looks like here they might have said to themselves as they got back off the course, next race we're going to try and take a bigger move at the 1K, push away from the competition and not leave any room for doubt in this race that's coming up here.
Honestly, that's one of the other great things about Summer Nationals is maybe you can try out a race technique that you're a little, unsure of, try something new. If it goes awry, maybe you still have time on the race course to write the outcome of what's going to happen. It does look like we've got these 2 Greenwich crews battling it out in second and third, with lane 3 closer to the right side of our camera, sitting in that second place position, but not by far. And it does look like that outside lane, lane 6, Dettinger and Alton of USRowing High Performance Camp coming up the outside. Maybe they're going to try to take a push in this middle 1,000 to get themselves on the podium. But barring any mishaps, it does look like this crew of Elsa Andrews and Ava Sack is pretty unbeatable at the moment. It's got to be a great feeling seeing those 5 other crews spreading out behind you.
Definitely. I mean, that's what you love to see. We love to see it.
We love to see it. Great job. Yeah, really excited for the work they're putting down. Cannot wait to see their racing in Italy in a few weeks. Beautiful overhead shot. I mean, flawless entries together. Times in a pair. Issa and I have spent a lot of hours doing it, and it can be really, really hard work to match up correctly, to just figure out what style is going to be most effective for these two athletes. You know, maybe switching bow and stern sometimes. I am a resident stroke seat here. Not a great bow. I'd say I'm very comfortable in stroke seat. But these two athletes making it look easy, doing a really, really great job here. As they come down in the final portion of the race, hearing all those cheers from the gazebo, pushing them into the final 500 of this race.
Got this lovely drone shot from our tech team here. Shout out to them.
Looking back on the race course, pretty tight field still. We can't really tell on angles, but it does look like those two Greenwich crews still sitting in second and third position. We'll see who can hit the best sprint, hit a next gear. A pair, definitely. You got to make sure you hit that sprint together. If one person in the pair hits the sprint before somebody else, I have unfortunately taken my pair partner into another lane in the past. So hopefully well communicated between stroke and bow to take that rate up. Just a little more pressure on the legs. You can see Andrews and Sack bringing up the rate. You know, a little bit faster hands out of the finish. No time on the front end. Just getting that blade sunk in, pushing off the foot plate to come into these red buoys here. You know, leaving nothing to chance. They keep ratcheting up the rate, heading into the final 100 meters of the race. Looking really nice here.
Yeah, really solid executed. I'm assuming that, you know, how, like we were talking about earlier, that they just set on a new race plan, or maybe the same race plan, but just executing it here. Looking really strong, really powerful as they come into the finish.
Congratulations on that win for Elsa Andrews and Ava Sack, and we'll see who can join them on the podium. It looks like it's our Greenwich crew of Brooke Legandowski and Lauren Coaster, followed behind by lane 2, the Greenwich crew of Catherine Alexander and Nino Wheeldryer to pass the rest of these crews. Really great job from the rest of these boats as they cross through the finish line. A nice shot of that first 500 on the race course, just about to cross into the second 500. That winning crew of Elsa Andrews and Ava Sachs just continuing to push away after an excellent start. Really, really great racing from all of these crews. Exciting stuff, and they're going to take this experience and bring it to Varese.
See ya in Italy.
See you in Italy. Have a wonderful time. I mean, beautiful race course out in Varese. Everybody should follow along. Definitely on my bucket list of places that I would like to race. And it does look like we have the men's U23 pair coming down the course.
In lane 1, we got Jack O'Brien and Walter Stanwood from Mendota. In lane 2, we got Rutherford and Hathaway from TBC Racing. In lane 3, we got Schmidt and Haran from Mendota. In lane 4, we got Sass and Hay from Buffalo Scholastic. And in lane 5, we got Paterno and Pryor from Monmouth Juniors.
So all these athletes, we've seen a lot of them over this regatta, doing some really, really great work out there.
Yeah, you know, those boys from Buffalo Scholastic, they're looking really solid in the time trial, really commanding lead in the semis. So it's gonna be great to see what they do here in the final in their checkered unis. I think they're wearing them again.
Yeah, big fan of this, you know, blue and white checkered, really great. You can see that red stripe across the back of the Mendota athletes.
Yeah, you know, Schmidt and Haran, they yesterday they stroked the champ 8. Is it the champ 8? The 8?
The 8.
The 8.
You know, you can call it a championship 8. The open 8 here for the men.
The open 8. That's the word I was looking for.
You know, no age category, no restrictions. Anybody can enter that event.
Yep.
But looking really good. You know, our under 23 athletes here, still in college, predominantly working hard in their summers, you know, gaining a little extra fitness, extra race experience. And it does look like those Buffalo Scholastic athletes out in front. Colin Hay and Nathaniel Sass doing a really, really great job here. But the rest of the field not letting go.
Yeah, I mean, these boys, they've been looking great, as I was saying, through the time trials, through the semifinals. They won their semifinal very handedly yesterday. So kind of see that potentially replaying out here as they just take confident, composed strokes here. Not to be forgotten, though, is Schmidt-Horan, like I said, stroked the 8 to win yesterday in the Open 8 category. Here they are, probably, you know, seeing that puddles to their left. It's going to be motivating them through. They know that they're not far behind, even if they can't see the crew out of the corner of their eye here.
A lot of experience in that Buffalo Scholastic pair. Colin Hay already has had 3 under 23 national teams, you know, under his belt in 2019 and 2021 and 22. So really exciting to see the work that they've put out there. This is the lightweight pair from under 23 team trials. So they also, likewise to our last race winners, will be heading off to for race A. So getting some racing against some heavyweight crews while they're out here.
Yeah, it looks like the Mendota crew in lane 3 had a little steering issue, but they managed to correct it quickly. You know, every single meter counts here. So hopefully they'll be able to get back on course. It looks like they're heading a little bit to starboard now. But whichever one of them is steering, just doing a great job of getting them back on course here.
And our other member of the Buffalo Scholastic boat, Nathaniel Sass, already has 2 under 23 national teams under his belt. So the experience with these 2, I'm sure, paying off. You know, last year finishing 4th in the lightweight pair at the 2021 World Championship. So taking this experience here, hoping to end up on the podium in Varese.
We got a bucket hat. Bucket hat alert.
Oh, you know, it doesn't seem to give him quite enough speed. I don't know. These Buffalo Scholastic guys, checkered is where the speed is. And they are looking long and strong, very confident. You know, great performance from these athletes through the week.
And we can hear the Wisconsin athletes from the shore cheering on their teammates.
You know, but doing really nice.
Yeah, this Buffalo Scholastic pair just looking really solid.
Got some chanting going on. I'm sure your athletes can hear it on the race course. We're big fans, but, you know, class act from this Buffalo crew. It does not look like they can be caught. So I'm sure that, you know, great experience as they're heading down the race course. So looking really good here.
We love to see it.
We do love to see it.
They're getting such a great drone shot here of this Buffalo Scholastic crew, this under 23 lightweight pair.
You know, gorgeous shot back up the race course. Luckily, Issa and I have not jinxed the weather as we've headed into our last few races of the morning.
You're welcome. You're welcome,
yeah,
everybody.
It's all us. We've prayed to Lady Mercer. She's a very fickle goddess.
Yeah, she really is.
But she's been obeying our wishes and giving you guys great conditions.
So you're welcome.
Almost
honestly,
blue
you're
skies.
welcome.
Yeah. It's all us. It's not the work of these amazing athletes and their coaches. All the volunteers out in the course making this an amazing regatta. It does look like this Buffalo Scholastic duo is going to take the win at W, and they can take it all the way to Italy with them.
Take the dub.
We're here for it. They're still bringing up the rate. They don't care that they're ahead. They're going to practice their sprint coming through the line as fast as possible. Looking really great there.
Yeah, like we've said, for all these crews that are looking to race, that are going to be racing internationally later on, not only are they here, you know, for the bragging rights and for the experience, but I'm sure they have goals set for them by their coaches and by themselves to get them closer to that gold medal standard for the 2K when they go and race in Italy.
Really great finish from that Mendota crew in lane 3 to take second place, followed up by TBC Racing in lane 2 for the bronze medal. A little looking back to earlier in the race, Nobody made it easy on this Buffalo Scholastic duo, but they did an excellent job just executing and slowly pushing away. You know, East and I have mentioned it time and time again, that middle 1,000, if you don't have that base fitness, you are not walking away. So hats off to Colin Hay and Nathaniel Sass for really laying down a sick middle 1,000 and leaving the rest of the field in their puddles. Beautiful, beautiful work here. Executing a great race.
Yeah, great job to all the competitors. Coming up next, we're going to have the women's U23 doubles final.
And looks like they're heading off right now down the race course.
In lane 1, we got Kikunaga and Demopoulos from Vesper. In lane 2, we got Lawrence and Barletta from Great Bay.
Lawrence, who we saw earlier the day in the women's single.
In lane 3, we got Alexander and Mayetta from Vesper. In lane 4, we got English and Batson, who we've also seen from the GRP representing first and third in the U23 singles final. In lane 5, we got Love and Burchett from Conshohocken. And in lane 6, we got Carver Rittner and Alvis from OKC High Performance Center.
So if you're just tuning in, lane 1 is on the right side of your screen. Lane 6 is on the left, so you can check out the order of those athletes. To have that Vesper duo on the right side, you can see the maroon V on the back of their unis. In that Great Bay unis, in that Minion boat in lane 2. Doing a great job there. Followed closely, you know, almost nothing between all these crews as they're hitting the middle of their first 500. Doing a really, really great job. It does look like our Vesper duo on the outside of Amelia Demopoulos and Catherine Kianyaga are pushing themselves into the lead. As we've talked about before, sometimes that outside lane is the advantage. You do get the lane draws based on your performance in either the time trial or the semifinals. So you'll have the top-ranked crews coming in the middle of the screen.
Here we got our results from the men's U23 pair final. In first, we got Sass and Hay. That Buffalo Scholastic crew put down a great race with a time of 6:47.23. In second, we got Schmidt and Haran from Mendota with a time of 7:01.9. Go Badgers! In lane 3, we got Rutherford and Hathaway from TVC Racing with a time of 7:07.05. In lane 4, we got Paterno and Pryor, and in lane 5, fourth, and in fifth, we got O'Brien and Stanwood from Mendota as well. Congratulations to all athletes coming out here for the final, putting down great races.
And we're back with the women's U23 doubles final. It does look like that Vesper double just maybe a little bit out ahead, but you know, nothing back to these other crews in lane 4, that duo of Julia Batson and Taylor English, who just raced the U23 single. It looks like they might just be pulling even with those race leaders on the outside, and coming with them is that Conshohocken duo of Burchett and Love. You know, really great racing from all these crews out today, especially seen in these last few races. People have doubled up earlier in the day, coming back, throwing down their second 2K of the day.
Yeah, but like we've said, you know, it's all about trusting that base fitness, knowing that you got another 2K in your legs.
And sometimes you don't, and you just lie to yourself, and you can do it anyways.
Exactly, and love what we're seeing here, you know, not that much separation on the field.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
Yeah, so, you know, very evenly spaced. I'm going to be really interested to see as we cross into the 1K, you know, a lot of crews like to take that, you know, just past the 750 here. They know that 1K is coming. A lot of crews like to make that 1K move to push off of the rest of the field. So it'll be interesting who decides to make that move earlier rather than later, who responds to who. Like we've said multiple times before, there's riding that line between executing your race plan that you planned on before you started the race and responding to what's going on in the moment. There's definitely riding a line there. You got to see what makes the most sense in the moment.
You can see that big orange buoy on the side. They've just passed into the second 1,000 of the race. You know, not much wind to speak of, but there definitely is still a little. I can see the flag at the gazebo just gently waving into a headwind, but really great conditions, much cooler than yesterday. The humidity was definitely getting to some athletes as they were heading down the course. You can see the back of these OKC athletes as they're coming into this third 500, but a beautiful overhead shot of our GRP duo who ended up on the podium and trying to repeat that performance. Looking really calm and composed here. You just saw that bow seat glance over. You can definitely see that Vesper double in lane 1 who's doing a really great job, but no one is really cracking. There's no clear winner at this point. We'll see what they can do in this third 500. Perhaps the toughest part of the race. Just getting yourself going. That red buoy marking 7:50 to go. You got those cheers coming through at the gazebo. Give them a big shout. These 12 women doing a really, really great job on the race course right now. This Vesper duo in lane 3, Maeda and Alexander not letting go of the GRP athletes. A little bit over the buoy line there. Can get yourself into a little trouble if you get caught, but does look like they've been able to change their point, get their starboard side blades clear of the buoy line. Can't wait to see what they do. See if they can push. It does look like that Vesper double still trying to push back on them. Responding to those moves made by English and Batson. Yeah, there you go. Everybody else also wearing out their voice from the gazebo.
Yeah, you can hear everybody from the shore.
Motivate these athletes. Someone's got to kick the sprint early, see if they can change what's happening on the race course, but it does look like Batson and English are staying in the lead here. Really superb rowing from both these athletes. We know they're putting some great training in at Hosmer Pond. The whole team up there, some excellent racing from the whole squad. Really gorgeous. Staying very composed from all these athletes, even if they're feeling the fatigue of this final section of the race. And we'll see who can push it up. Even a little steering trouble from this GRP duo too. Get a little out of sync between the two sides. Can't exactly tell. They're coming over to that port buoy line, causing a little bit of trouble perhaps for that Vesper double who can feel their puddles, but they're doing a great job trying to stay ahead as they hit the red buoys. So we're hitting 2:50 to go right here, and we'll see who can make a move and get ahead to secure another national title here at Summer Nationals on Lake Mercer 2022. We're doing a really great job. You can see even these trailing crews, some gorgeous rowing from them, really nice timing, good acceleration into the end of the stroke. That Great Bay crew in the blue and yellow shell, perhaps Issa and my favorite boat of the regatta, just for the design, is doing a really good job pulling up into our GRP athletes. Let's see if they can push through them in these last few strokes to take the win. It'll be really exciting to see if they can get rowed through, or if these GRP athletes can respond and keep their bow ahead as they head down to the line. It does look like Taylor and English are able to still say about a boat length ahead to cross the line with the win, but in second place we've got Great Bay's Barletta and Lawrence to take that second place finish, and a really close race for our trailing crews for third. So some awesome racing from all of these women out on the course. Very, very tight, hardly any separation for much of the race. Everybody staying extremely tight across the 6 lanes. Some really gorgeous shots of earlier in the race at that about 7:50 into the race course. Nothing between those boats as they're coming through the middle thousands. So it just shows some great training from all of these women that they were able to throw down such an excellent race. Even the second race for some of these athletes. But coming away with the win, Julia Batson and Taylor English from Green Racing Project. Congratulations on your win, guys. We're really excited to see, ending up on the podium multiple times. It really shows the excellence of athletes to come from the single to the double, really execute between multiple boat classes, serves them really well in their training. Really, really gorgeous. That Vesper duo of, looks like Maeda and Alexander coming through for that third place. Heading back up to the start, we have got the men's U23 double. Some looking to have a similarly tight race out here on the race course. This is our final race of 2022 Summer Nationals, so really excited to see what these men can do on the course. In lane 1, we have Vega de Roviere and Leon from Miami, Walsh and Coyne from Penn AC, Stone and Stitch from Greenwich, Sherman and Jones from Conshohocken, who we saw earlier in the double, Arthur and Nolenberger from Green Racing Project. Arthur also out there in the single, and Lovas from Potomac on the outside in lane 6. As I was saying before, lane 1 on the right side of your picture, lane 6 off on the left, and it does look like we've got lane 4 in the lead for the moment. Contra Hawkins, Charles Jones, and Robert Sherman doing a really, really great job here as they're coming down. Robert Sherman, winning that men's U23 single, so hoping to repeat in the double with his partner. We'll see what they can do out here, but not breaking through the rest of the field. We do have lane 2, Penn AC's Coyne and Walsh sitting in second place, but just a seat behind Miami's Nicholas Leon and Diego Vega de Roviere. Got some big shout outs from those Miami fans. They are very proud of the work that they have been putting in on the race course this week. So shout out to Miami for their awesome racing. From Celia, shout out to the Lecheros in the men's double, doing a really great job. Here's our results from that past race. As you just saw, English and Batson winning the men's U23 double.
Go Springs.
And coming in second, Lawrence and Barletta from Great Bay. Rounding out the podium, Alexander and Maeda from Vesper. Really, really great racing for all of those women. Back to this final race of the day. We've got the men's double storming down the course. That Conshohocken duo trying to break clear water on Penn AC in lane 2. And we'll see what they can do in this third 500. As the last race, we got these people doubling up earlier in the day. Already ripped a 2K out on the course. Had a few last few days. It is sometimes just ripping it. And it's all you can do. And as long as you can just hold that technique well enough, you can end up with your bow ball crossing the line first. It does look like the rest of the field is not quite letting go. Penn AC second, sitting in third. Penn AC sitting in second. Miami sitting in third, but closely followed by our Green Racing Project athletes in lane 5. So we'll see who can push this third 500 and end up in front. Keep those cheers going for this last race of the day. Thank you so much to all of our cheering squad, all of our coaches, parents, friends who have ended up on the race course, regatta dogs, all the such help us,
we love to see all of it.
Put together a great piece out here. And these Conshohocken duo, it looks like they're already bringing up the rate, really just accelerating, very aggressive style here into the finish. Big send through with the legs. Looking really, really good. And the rest of the field catching up. It does look like the battle between second and third place is very, very tight. So we'll see who can eke out ahead and follow this Conshohocken duo of Jones and Sherman. Looking really, really, really nice here. Heading back, view back up the course. Some cheers for all of our competitors out on the course, doing a really, really nice job here. We'll see who can raise the rate and make the most of this final 500 as they come into the fourth quarter of the race. This Conshohocken double, not to be caught, it looks like, though. Doing a really superb job as they pass through that big orange buoy of the final 500.
Wow, yeah, they're putting on a great show for you guys today.
About 2 links of open water back to that GRP double in lane 5.
Yeah, shout out to the GRP. They asked us, slid into our DMs, let us know. Shout out to GW Heavyweight Men's Rowing.
Trying to get it reinstated here.
Yeah.
We got to protect rowing at the collegiate level, make sure none of those programs get cut. Support the rowing community all across the country at all of its different levels. Yep. But this Conshohocken double looking very, very good here as they come down to the final 250 of the course. Buoy still yellow here, and there we go. Red buoys for the final 250. Just a few more strokes and see if they can secure themselves another national title.
I mean, this is beautiful, and it's so fun, you know, like especially from this angle, see the bend in those oars as they apply all the power they have in the last 250 of the race.
Big thank you to all of our drone operators getting us these nice shots of the race course. Makes all the difference to have this great coverage from Five Tribes Cinema Productions out here. Shout out to Colin for all of his good work. And this Conshohocken double, you know, you see that stroke man bringing it up one last time. He had a quick look out of the boat.
Wow.
To see the finish line
Great
coming.
shot here.
You know, gorgeous times here at Mercer. It does look like, you know, not much space between GRP in lane 5, but Conshohocken taking that win. And it does look like our GRP duo in lane 5 taking second place, followed shortly behind by the Penn AC crew, Coyne and Walsh.
Congratulations to all these competitors here. We're going to take this moment to thank all of the volunteers that made racing here possible. Here we got a little replay from the start of this race. Thank you to all of volunteers, especially to Chris and Hillary, our local organizing committee. Thank you to referees and to USRowing interns, Tony Williams and Lauren Crumbly, for all that you do to make this possible here today.
And if you haven't had quite enough rowing after this week, please tune in for the coverage of Youth Summer Nationals. Issa and I won't be on the mic, but I'm sure we'll have some great coverage and commentators for those races as well. Youth Summer Nationals will take place in Oak Ridge, Tennessee next week from July 15th to the 17th. There will be a college fair with over 600 schools in attendance. Go talk about getting recruited D1, D2, or club programs. You know, Issa and I, both proud graduates of amazing college rowing programs. Not recruited, but you guys can get your spots recruited to college. Racing will include youth events, U17 and U16, including the new Coxed Quad and Coxed 4. There's also Masters Nationals coming up in Sarasota, Florida from August 11th to 14th. As we mentioned before, USRowing has many opportunities there to keep athletes cool, including air-conditioned tents, cooling towels, hydration tablets, cooling tents, and more for the heat that Florida brings. But, you know, Jersey doing their best to also bring the humidity this week. For Nationals, you got those over 21 athletes. There is a beer garden and athlete wellness area, so relax, kick back after you've gotten your medal with a nice beverage.
Finally, interested in becoming a referee? It's the best view in the house. See the races up close and personal, get a view that not many people get. Also get the opportunity to meet interested people, people in the sport who have been around for a long time. Got like, a lot of perspective. It's awesome. And also help keep our athletes safe. USRowing is always looking to grow the referee corps. If you're interested, please go to the referee tab on the USRowing website for more information on how to be qualified.
And if you have won a medal today, make sure you go pick up that medal at the award stage in the back of their trailer area. Thanks so much for having us today. We've had so much fun watching these races. I'm Charlotte Buck.
I'm Issa Darvin.
Oh, and we've got results for that last race up before we sign off. Really great racing from that men's double event. If you've enjoyed our commentary, you know, want to slide in any suggestions, you can still follow us at Charbuckwild, at Issa Darvin. Follow along the whole team here at the Princeton Training Center, which is at Women in the Boat. And please cheer on your whole senior national team squad, including all of those amazing athletes that qualified their position today. Here are the results from the men's U23 double final.
In first, we got Sherman Jones from Conshohocken with that great finish, a time of 6:43.2. In second, we got Arthur and Nollenberger from Green Racing Project with a time of 6:49.7. And in third, we got Walsh and Coyne from Penn AC with a time of 6:51. Congratulations to all competitors and everyone who competed over the course of these past 3 days. Shout out to everyone who came out. And like Charlotte was saying, you know, follow us at Women in the Boat for the Princeton Training Center, but also follow your club, support your collegiate teams, support your scholastic and high school and club teams. Really just, you know, follow who you want to follow. And thank you so much for tuning in and supporting USRowing here at Summer National Championships in West Windsor, New Jersey. Excuse me.
Have a great day, guys.